All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of Compin Atlanta. We are here live and direct. Appreciate you all being here with us. Today's going to be a great episode where we really going to be coming in to talk about comping and why that's so important. Honestly speaking, it's probably the most important part of real estate as a whole, because in every aspect of real estate, you got to comp, right?
You got to
But most importantly, it's super important because you have so much that relies on the comping aspect of it on the bottom level, or the first level, I should say, which is called wholesaling, right? Hold on a second, Mama. Which is called wholesaling. So you got to make sure that you understand how to comp. I don't know if you guys saw my video that I posted out earlier today, but that video had Jamil talking about how important it is to be able to understand your skill set in the game and the value that you give in comping. And so we're going to go over comping, especially in the Atlanta market. Now, I'm assuming everyone that's here is either because they really wanted to see how good I look today, or they wanted to come in and check to see if Abraham was going to be wearing sandals, or they really do business in Atlanta, right? All three of those are true, by the way. But at the end of the day, you guys got to know how to comp in Atlanta. Atlanta is one of those places that everybody is interested in.
Sorry, I was
hold on. Somebody's on. Carlos, I'll meet you, buddy. Everybody is interested in Atlanta. They love Atlanta. It's a great market, right? You never hear anybody talk any craziness about Atlanta. The thing about it is Atlanta is also very, very different. It's not like any other market. And because of that, you have to understand, you got to know how to run your comps. All right. We can do all types of examples of why you should be able to do that, especially if you're in the game as a wholesaler right now. But I do want to make sure before I bring out the guests, let them speak, you guys also understand something important. First thing is, if you don't understand how to comp well, one of the things that you're doing is that you are sending over deals to individuals like myself or to Abraham way too high. The deal isn't going to move, right? Now, part of that is your comping skills, and the other part is your negotiating skills, okay? You are allowing your seller to tell you, here's how much I want for the property, and that's pretty much it. That's never going to work. The part, you guys all heard of it, right? You got to be able to buy at the right price. The other problem that you guys are having is a lot of times you guys are getting properties at a price that's too low where the deal doesn't even make sense, believe it or not, right? And you guys are getting these under contract and you're trying to move deals, and then you get frustrated because you're like, man, everybody look like they winning on the internet, but I can't get a wholesale deal. I've been wholesaling forever and I can't get a deal. And I can promise you a lot of that has to do with your skill set in comping. Now, if you have MLS access, you're ahead of the game, because MLS access is probably the highest point you can get at having accurate data in real time, right? But that doesn't mean if you don't have it, that you can't get it. You can't work with an agent to be able to get it. There's all types of stuff we'll talk about there. But also there's other applications you can use. So Privy is also really good. They have a direct line access to MLS, so you can be able to use that. Another important thing is don't use anything. Our guest speaker, who's my man, is one of my mentors. We call him the GOAT. This guy will comp a property using Zillow, which is a free tool. And I promise you, I'll go bat to bat with anybody. I don't think nobody's buying more properties than this man right now. All right. I think he's buying like 1.5 houses per day right now. How do you buy 1.5? I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if he's putting half money down on half of a property and the next day he's putting in the rest. But the guy's buying a lot of property. So he can share one or two things about how to comp properties well. More importantly, how to be able to do so that you can send properties to him, send properties to me or any other, if you're investors, and you'll be able to know exactly getting at the right price. All right. So Abraham, you're on with us, man. I'm gonna give you access to be able to share your screen as well. Let me do that right quick, my guy. And let me make sure I can hear Abraham. Abraham, you here?
Yeah, do you hear me? You can hear me?
Good. Yep, yep.
All right, cool. All right.
Access to share. All right. Let's do it, bro.
All right. Hey, everybody, what's up? So I think most people here know me. People that don't know me, I'm in Atlanta. I buy, like Eddie was saying, I buy on the worst months I've had in the last year, I'm buying like close to 20 properties. On the good months, I'm buying a little bit over 30 properties. Every property I buy, I pay cash for. And with the exception of a few that I buy subject to an owner finance, that will have another Zoom on how to do that. But today we're going to talk about cash, buying properties for cash, and how to come up with a price to where you know you're going to make money on it. And if you're a wholesaler, how to lock it up at a price that you know you could sell it and move it for sure. Okay, so the reason why Eddie had me come on and do this comping video is because that's all I do all day. I comp properties all day, and I buy properties every single day. So besides the fact, that I'm gonna show you all this stuff, of course, any properties you get, always send them to me, send them to Eddie. And if you use my formula or even close, we'll be able to do a lot of deals together. So I see a lot of people in here that I bought a lot of properties from. Eddie said that I probably buy some of the most properties around in Atlanta. So as far as, there's obviously some different hedge funds and stuff that buy a lot of properties, but as far as like regular people that use their own money, I still don't think that there's anyone that buys anywhere near what I buy. I currently own, multiple hundred properties. I own them all free and clear, cash, and I constantly have like 100 properties I'm selling. I constantly always have 100, 150 properties that I'm renting or doing other different exit strategies with. We could do another Zoom on all different types of exit strategies after you buy a property, because there's over a dozen that I did. I don't always fix and flip. I don't always rent. There's a lot of other things. So the topic today is on comping. So I'm gonna get into that. By the way, if anybody doesn't have your thing on mute it, so that way no one can hear what you're saying.
I got you. I'll mute out anybody.
Okay, so mute everybody. All right, so I'm going to do a screen share and show you like how I comp everything. And then what I want to do is I want people to send me addresses, and let's just comp them right here. Like I'll show you how I would comp them and basically what I think that someone would pay for it. Now, there's always exceptions and everything that we'll talk about, because obviously anyone that's going to fix and flip pretty much has to use what I'm going to show you today, or else you're really not going to make any money. Now, there are investors out there that don't know what they're doing, and they'll buy a property and not make money on it, but they're not going to be a buyer that's going to keep buying stuff from you. They're going to realize they don't know what they're doing, and pretty fast. So the only other way that you could sell stuff for much more than what I'm going to show you is if you're selling it to an end buyer that's going to live in it, or if you're selling it to a hedge fund or someone that's going to basically use it as a rental, and then they could pay a little bit higher. But we're going to talk today specifically about how to comp it for a fix and flip. And then if you're lucky enough to find a end buyer that you can sell to that's going to move in there, or someone that's going to keep it as a rental, you could get a little bit more. All right.
Here's what we're going to do. Raise your hand if you have a property that you're currently working on, or just a property maybe you just had in your mind and you want to be able to comp it. Raise your hand. That way we'll be able to know how to call on you, and then you can put it, we'll call on you, then you can put it in the chat for us.
How do I?
And if you have a question, perfect, hands going up. If you have a question, do the same thing. When we call on you, you can ask a question. Actually, if you have a question, put that in the chat. I'll be monitoring the chat and we'll go through it that way.
All right, cool. I got the chat up too, so I'll be able to see. I'll be able to check out properties, and we'll be able to do a bunch of comping today. So we set aside like at least an hour. I'm sure it's probably gonna go a little bit over today, so we'll have plenty of time to comp people's properties. I'm gonna try to focus mostly on Atlanta, or at least Georgia today. But really this stuff works in any city, and we could do some stuff in other cities, but most people that I deal with are in Atlanta. I buy specifically only in Atlanta for cash. So that's what I'm gonna mostly focus on today. Somebody asked if it was recorded. It is recorded, right, Eddie? You're gonna have the recording?
Yep, put the message in the chat for them.
Okay, cool. So let's get to it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna screen share and we're gonna open up in Zillow and show you how I do every single thing that somebody sends me. 1 second here.
Now, listen, guys, Zillow has this thing where you can set your features up and everything. What I would recommend you do is you log in or get on your website to Zillow and practice at the same speed that we're doing, right? It's going to be super important so that after this, even though you have the video, after this, you want to be able to know exactly what we did and keep that in practice.
How did do you see my
Yep.
my screen?
Yep, you're on Zillow. We got you.
I minimize. I can't see the comments
I'll run the comments for you, so you can just
now. Okay.
be in your space. I got you.
I'm sure there's something here I just need to do. But all right. So you guys see Zillow. So basically, literally 95% of what I do, I use Zillow. Now there's some reasons why sometimes I have to go off Zillow. We're going to talk about it, but you can pretty much do everything on Zillow. I like Zillow better than anything. If Zillow costs a lot of money, I would buy it because Zillow actually, you can use Zillow better than any other thing to come. Way better than MLS, way better than PropStream, way better than Realtor.com or anything else. I'm gonna show you why right now. All right, so let's pick an address. Does anybody want to give me an address so we can contemplate someone's property now, just so we can actually?
Yep, I got an address for you right now.
All right, what's the address?
So the address is 14. Well, here I'll put it in the thing. So, oh, there go one right there
What?
in the chat. You see it? Oh, you can't see the chat. Okay, so
Yeah, hold on. Let me see
37.
figure out how. All right. How do I get back to this chat? When I did the screen share.
It blew, yeah, it made it bigger for you. You could do it. You're gonna have to go to the bottom of your screen.
Oh, chat right here. Okay, hold on. I got it. Move it up.
So are you seeing some of them? You see the chat now?
Okay, yeah.
All right.
So I got a few properties here. So let's look at, so someone sent me one here, 3747. 3747. So first off, I'm just gonna go right here into the search, 3747. I'm gonna type in the address. I haven't seen any of these addresses before, but here we go. So we're gonna go on this address here. This particular address, I just type it in here. Now, who sent me this one? Andrew.
That was Andrew.
Andrew. Okay, cool,
Hey,
Andrew. So what's up?
Hey, Andrew, can you unmute yourself and show your camera if possible?
All right, so the first thing I do when I pull this up, I see that, not that this estimate means anything, because most of the time, I mean, a lot of the time it means nothing, but I'll look at it and I'll see that it's 350. That gives me like a ballpark to start with. So this estimate right here says 350. Again, on a lot of the homes, it means nothing, but on homes in Ackworth, it usually means a little bit more. At certain areas, it's way off, certain areas a little bit better. So what I'll do is, I'll start with there. If someone's saying that they want 350 or for it, or close to 350 or more than 350, I already know right away it's gonna be a very tough deal to do. But if somebody, gives me a price significantly less, then I have to start looking at the condition and everything else. But the most important thing with Zillow is once I put this address in, okay, right here, these things on top are super important. So the first thing I do is you can have like 3 choices here to either show like what's sold, what is for rent, and what's for sale. I always click on the sold because I only care about what's sold. Like it doesn't matter if it's for sale necessarily, because it doesn't mean it's going to sell. So I'll go to sold. The other thing that's really important is this right here. Most of these I don't even use most of the time, although you could for certain things, but it's not even necessary. I go right to the more line and then I click on that. The absolute most important thing is to scroll down to right here, sold in the last day, sold in the last week, right? So I always put 6 months. Like 6 months is where I always start with. 95% of the time, I always go to 6 months and stay with 6 months. I don't even look at anything else. 6 months gives you, for Atlanta specifically, it'll give you a good amount of comps that are recent, right? If they're more than 6 months old, they might not be like super accurate. So you don't want to go back more than 6 months unless there's no comps. And we'll get to, I'm sure, some properties that we go maybe out a little bit more where there's not as many comps and we might have to go further back, and I'll show you how to adjust for that. But I always start with 6 months. So my setting is set on 6 months. It's always there, okay? Then the next two important things to do is square feet and year built. If you just have 6 months, square feet and year built, you could pretty much comp anything, okay? So let's go back to this house. So I'll click on this house, and what I'll do is I'll write down how many square feet it is, and then I'm gonna write down, I'm gonna scroll down, and I'm gonna see what year it was built, 1988. Those are the two things that I really, really care about. It's nice sometimes to go down and see the history, like, was it just listed? Is it listed now? Did it just sell? Some of that stuff could be relevant, but for now, let's skip that because on this home, it's not going to be super important because it wasn't listed for the last 6 years. So, and what happened in 2016 is not really important right now. So that was the last thing that happened with that house. So we already know, by the way, that the person we're trying to buy this home from paid $165,000 for. That's what they paid for it back, you know, almost 6 years ago, 5.5 years, 6 years ago, they paid 165. We don't know how much renovation they did. We don't know other stuff, but we know that's what they paid for it. Okay, so then I go here and I see that it's 1,650 square feet, built in 1988. So when I comp properties, I try to find homes that are within like 10% of the same square footage and within 5 to 10 years built. So this one is 1,650. So I'm gonna probably go up to 2,000 square feet. Like Zillow gives you like different like preset square footage that they'll let you put in there. I know it's like 1,000, 1,250, 1,500, 1,750, 2,000, 2,200. And we're gonna go, I'm gonna show you. But on this particular one, I know that anything over 2,000 square feet is gonna be a lot bigger. And then I'll probably go all the way down to like 1,250 square feet. That's like a little bit more than 10%. And then I'm gonna go and for the year built, I like looking at stuff built in the same decade, you know? So within 5 years is the best, but 10 years is probably as far as I wanna go. Because really a home built in 1998 is a lot better than a home built in 1988, as well as a home built in 1988 is a lot better than a home built in 1978. On this particular home, I'll probably go maybe 5 years past because 1998 is a lot better, but I know like 1988 to 1993 could be close enough. So now what I'm going to do is I got this information. I'm going to X out, go back to my more. I'm going to type in here up to 2,000 square feet.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I'm going to go to as small as 1,250 square feet. So I'm going to get a house that's really similar in square footage or close. Then I'm going to come down to the year built, and it was built in 1988. So I'm going to go 5 years newer. And the older the home, the more years I could look at. So like if this home was built in 1960, I'd probably go all the way to 1970. I'd go 10 years. The newer the home, probably 5 years. The older the home, even longer. So like homes built in the 50s, 60s, you go 10 years. Once you get down to like the 20s, 30s, 40s, I'll even go 20, 30 years sometimes. But on these newer homes, you gotta, you know, once you get to 1990s, like 5 years is a big difference. So here I could go and put, you know, up to 10 years below it, or I could just leave it empty. If I leave it empty, it'll just show every single house, no matter how old it was built. So let's just leave that for now, and then we can always go back and change it. So then I'm just gonna X out here, and now I'm going to see every single, I'm gonna narrow my search here, right? I'm gonna zoom in, and I could see every home that has sold and that's similar. So this particular home here is the one that's yellow. This home here is, this one's gonna be a weird one too, because this one actually, it shows like the acreage. Most homes in Atlanta like are gonna be on not a ton of acreage. So I don't really look at the lots so much unless it has a lot of acres. This particular home that's a comp is not a good comp because it's 6.4 acres. So this one's actually not even a good one because we're looking for homes that are normal, which to me normal is under an acre or sometimes under 2 acres, depending on the other house. So this one's not even a good comp because I see the acres on it. So I'm gonna X that one out. But assuming that this was only like an acre or something like that, I would use this price as a potential comp. And I see that this home, since I didn't put like how old I'm looking at, this particular home is 1960. So I know the other home is 1980 in the 1980s. So I know the other home is gonna be a little bit better. So if this home was 490, I know a newer home would be worth a little bit more. But let's go back to this home so I can do it. The reason why I like Zillow so much is because you could scroll in and scroll out. And what you could do is when you scroll in and scroll out, you could see all these like major roads. See, this 41 is a major road right here. If I have a home here and this neighborhood is, let's say there's a home, let's say this home is here and the home I'm looking at, the comp is over here. It might only be like 1/10 of a mile or less, but it's across this main highway. I would rather look at something that's 1/2 a mile away, but on the same side of the highway. So with Zillow, you could see if you cross over any major highways, any major roads. And when you're just looking on the MLS or Realtor, all you can do is you can say, look, I want to find homes that are within 1/4 mile or 1/2 a mile or whatever. And you might get homes that are close, but they're in a totally different neighborhood. Where in Zillow, you could actually see the neighborhood, and you basically only want to, when we get to more neighborhoods, I'll show you like a square of where to kind of look. Now, this particular one, there's not many comps here because this is like a more rural, this is like not in a big neighborhood, and there's a big like lake right here. So there's not a lot of homes to comp on this particular square. But in theory, what you would want to do is you'd want to get from this major road to this major road to this big stream, to this lake, and find properties in here to comp it with. Now, because there aren't any that match what I'm looking for in here, I'm going to go a little bit further out. So let's see here. There's 2 homes here that sell. Let's see what these are. So I click on it, and these are actually good homes because these are homes that are similar. These are 1,600. This is 1,600 square feet, and so this one is 1,600 square. It's a very similar size and built around the same year. As you can see, it's built in 1984. This home is built within a few years of the other home, almost the same square footage. This is a great comp. Obviously, I'd like to find more than one perfect comp in the neighborhood, but this one is a really good comp. So I could see now that this home sold 2 months ago for $315,000. That was around the same square footage, around the same year built. This would be like a perfect comp for the one that we're looking at now. The thing is here is that it's sold a few months ago, and now you have to figure out the adjustment. Did the market go up or down since then? And the most important thing is what you need to do is figure out what this house looks like. So on Zillow, over the last like 4 or 5 months, they kind of started taking out the pictures. But on this one, you could see the pictures of what it looked like. So if you can't see what it looked like on Zillow, that's where I'll go to like realtor.com, and usually they'll still have the pictures there. But a worst case scenario, you can't find it on Zillow or realtor.com. Everybody knows an agent. There's a bunch of agents in this. I use Mona all the time. She's a good friend. She helps me and gives me all the pictures I need for anything on MLS. We do a lot of deals together. But everybody knows someone, and you can always go to MLS and find the pictures of what it looked like when it sold. The reason why that's really important is because if this house is in really good shape and we're comping a house that's in similar shape, we know the price makes sense. If this house is in really bad shape and it's sold for $315,000, and your house is in good shape, you know your house is worth a little bit more, and vice versa. So you got to know the condition of what the comp sold for. And in most things that we're going to comp today, we're going to see a lot of homes in the neighborhood. So we're not going to use just one home. But on this particular house, there's one that's really close. So I would say that's a really good comp for this house. And again, let's look at, so this one's 1,650 square feet, the one we're comping. The other one was 1,600, so it's almost the same. This one's a little bit bigger. And again, this one, you scroll down, you see was built in 1988. The other one was built, I think, 84. So it's within 5 years, which is incredible. And it's both built in the 1980s. This one is on 0.7 acres. The other one was very similar. So that, I would say that is a really good comp. Now that one was a few months ago. The market might have stayed the same or gone up a little bit in the last few months. So this estimate on this one is $350,000. And I could tell that this estimate here is pretty accurate for what the house is probably worth, because the other one sold for $315,000. It was a few months ago. And it probably sold for a little bit less than it was worth, and the market might have gone up a little bit. So let's just assume we know that this house will sell for $350,000 after we got it nice and fixed up. Next thing I'm going to do is look at all the pictures of this house. I don't know if these are pictures of what the house looks like now, But let's assume that's what the house looks like now. I'm gonna scroll and look at these pictures. I'm gonna determine, is this house in rent-ready condition? Is it like super nice, updated? Is it like, does it need like a full gut? Does it need, what does it need? How much money in rehab does it need? And we can go through on a bunch of properties that you guys show me if you have pictures, how much I think the house will need in rehab, just to give you an idea of how to ballpark it really fast. So let's look at this house, and we'll do this one first. So this house so far looks like it's in good shape. It doesn't look like it's super updated, but it also doesn't look bad. So this is a pretty decent shape. The floors are kind of like a more varnished feel, not more modern, but again, this would be a really nice house for someone to move into. You wouldn't have to do anything almost to this house so far to have somebody move into it and live in it. So this one would be something, if I was to buy, I would do very little work to it if it was in this neighborhood. In this neighborhood, I don't see houses that are super updated nice that go for a lot of money. So there's no reason to make this one super nice. This is about the condition that probably makes sense to keep it in. I would probably go in there and do a little bit, but very, very little. So I'm assuming that these are the accurate pictures of this house. So based on that being the accurate pictures, and me seeing that this other house right here sold for $315, and that was a few months ago, I feel pretty comfortable that this house that we're looking at is going to sell for at least $315 and probably as much as $350. First off, because Zillow also says that it will, although again, it doesn't really mean a whole lot necessarily, but on this particular one, I think it's right. And it is probably a little bit bigger than this one, so it's worth a little bit more. And it's in good shape. So on this particular house, I would very reasonably say that this one would sell for close to $350. Now, how much do I want to pay for it because it will sell for $350? Well, let's talk about it from a few different standpoints. Because I'm an investor and I want to buy it and fix it up and flip it, I have certain costs. So I'm going to have to buy it for a certain price. Now, if you find someone that wants to just move in here and live in here, you could probably get, maybe 100% or 90% at least of this asking price. So if you find like somebody that actually wants to move in here, take off 10% and that's a deal for them. $315. If you think you can get $350 for it, you give it them for $315. That's a good deal. That's giving them for 90%. And all these different hedge funds that pay, crazy money for stuff because they're just buying it to rent it. This is going to be a good home for them because this home they're just going to buy it and they're going to be able to rent it right away. It's not going to be much work they have to do. So this one, again, most of the hedge funds are paying, at least 80 to 90%. So this will be one that you could give to a hedge fund for probably in that $315, maybe even higher because it's pretty good shape. So this is one you could probably sell them for 90%. Now,
hey, Abraham, real quick. So we got a question in the chat by Marco. Shout out to Marco as also. The lot on the comparable is 1.3 acres, and this property is only 0.7 acres. So how does that affect the price?
That's a great question. So here's the thing. To me, 0.7 acres and 1.3 acres is almost the same thing when we're comping properties in Atlanta. There's not really much of a difference between half, 3/4 of an acre or acre and a half. It's pretty. Now, if you're looking at a house that's like an acre and a house that's 6 acres, that's a big difference. But in for this type of particular home, I would almost say anything that's like under 2 acres is comparable. Now, if you're selling it to an end buyer, okay, that's going to want to live there, they'll probably, give you some extra credit for it being 1.5 acres instead of 3/4 of an acre. But for the most part, most people that are going to buy it aren't going to care if it's 1/2 acre, 1 acre, 3/4 acre. It's going to be very, very minimal amount of extra money. Now, that's in this particular area. Certain areas it's a lot more important. But I buy a lot of stuff in Ackworth and all through Kennesaw and all these areas. I know I've sold so many properties, and a home that's 0.7 and a home that's 1.3 is really not going to matter a whole lot for what someone's going to pay. Now, in other areas, it can matter a lot. Like you go to Buckhead, you go to Sandy Springs, you go to some of these expensive areas, and you have a 3/4 acre lot and an 1.5 acre lot. That could be a big difference because the value of the land there is so expensive that, someone that's buying $1 million home, especially in the more expensive homes, is where it's going to matter. On the homes that are, a few $100,000 or less, it's not going to matter as much, but like on really expensive homes, it can matter. And the acres, it's not even the acres that matter, right? It's also like, what is the acreage? Like, is it usable acreage? So a lot of homes could be 3 acres, but you can't even use any of it. It's like mountains, hills, streams that you can't use. So how good is that? I'd rather have a 1 acre lot that I can use more than a 3 acre lot that I can't use. So a lot of that will come into play as well. And you'll have to go look at those properties and see. But for the most, on this particular home, I wouldn't worry about it, the comps being that much different. And again, when you start going to rural areas and people that want a lot of acres, it becomes a lot different. But I would say anything under 1.5 acres to 2 acres is going to be very similar in most, like Cobb County, Gwinnett County. It's not going to add a lot, although it will add a little bit, not enough to where it's worth considering when you're like trying to buy a property to fix and flip, or trying to wholesale a property.
So Abraham, when you say acreage, Kevin just asked a question. When you say acreage, are you talking about the lot size, or is that something different?
Acreage is always a lot size, right? So when we're talking acreage, we're talking the lot size. And I believe there's like 30-some thousand square feet in an acre. So like a lot of when you're in Zillow, it will tell you the square foot of the lot instead of the acreage. It doesn't say like how many acres a lot of times. If it's small, it'll just tell you how many square feet. And just know that if it's like 30,000 square feet, it's an acre. If it's 10,000 square feet, it's a third of an acre, something like that. So, but yeah, when I talk acres, I'm talking about the land size. Square foot is actual usable air conditioned, above basement level, livable space is square foot. So a lot of times on Zillow, it'll say 1,650 square feet, but the home maybe is 2,500 square feet. Why? Well, because most of the time Zillow doesn't count the basement, and the basement is not worth as much as the above ground level. So when I'm comping apples to apples. So if a lot of times people will say, well, it says it's 1,650, but it's really 2,500. It's 2,500 with the basement. But when I'm comping all the other homes in the area, and Zillow doesn't show the basement on the other homes either. As long as it doesn't show the basement on any homes, we're comping apples to apples. If half the homes square foot shows the basement, half of them don't, that's where you can get messed up. But for the most part, Zillow, like 90% of the time, doesn't count the basement square footage. So you're always comparing apples to apples for the most part. And I've comped thousands of properties, and it's a small percent where Zillow actually counts the basement in the square footage. So you don't have to worry about it too much.
Awesome.
So let's go back to finish this house. We get to some other homes, but I want to get to some homes that are in more neighborhoods, because that's where most homes that we're buying are. And the way you comp is just, it's really important to see what I do. So, and what you should do. So this particular home is 350, right? So if I was had to fix and flip this home, this is how I would price it. Okay, let's say I'm buying this home for you right now. How would I price it and give you a price? Well, I'm looking at it. I could sell it for 350. Okay. Now,
well, Abraham,
Hold on a second. Before you do that, I want to make sure he's on here. Andrew, are you still on here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So do you already have this on the contract?
I do.
That's why I wanted to find out. What do you have it on the contract at? Before Abraham breaks down what he would buy it as a cash buyer.
278.
278. Okay. All right. Now, Abraham, give us your breakdown.
All right. I almost wish I didn't hear that, so I could tell you. But by the way, somebody told me that acres in the chat, acres.
Yeah, shout out to Raymond. Or
okay,
Ramon,
so again, I don't care about the acre. I don't care about the square. How many square? I mean, I don't care about the acres so much, unless we're talking about like homes that are over a couple acres. Once homes that are under a couple acres, I don't look at it so much. I do, depending on the neighborhood. But yeah, if it was important, I would Google it, and I forgot. I was thinking it was 35,000, but it's 43,000 looks like. So anyhow, just so you know, an acre is 43,560 square feet. Okay, according to Raymond. I didn't check it myself, but he's probably right, I'm sure. So all right, so what would I pay for this property? Right, that's all you care about. So I think I could sell this property for 350. All right, if I'm buying a property, I need to make 10% of whatever I'm going to sell it for. That's my profit. I got to make 10% or else it's not worth me having to spend the time on it, right? Because there's a lot of work involved that we can get into. But so instantly right now, I need to make 35. We're already down to 315. Okay, so on this particular home, if nothing else mattered, I would be paying 350 minus 35,000. 35,000 is just the profit I need to make. We're down to 315. All right, what other stuff do I got to deduct? So the other things I got to deduct is when I'm buying it, I'm always paying the closing cost. When I'm selling it to an end buyer on the MLS, I'm usually paying the closing cost or at least giving them some sort of concession toward it. So I'm usually paying the closing costs at least twice, sometimes even more. So I have to consider my cost, which is closing cost, my holding cost. My holding cost is how much it costs me to have this property for however long I'm going to have it and not be able to use that money for something else. Now, most people that buy properties use hard money lending, and hard money lending, they usually charge you like 2% upfront. So if you were borrowing on $100,000, they would charge you $2,000 upfront to borrow $100,000, and then they usually charge you about 1% a month. So you're gonna have to pay this hard money lender $1,000 every single month to have this money. So on $100,000, the average home that I buy takes about close to 4 months to sell. Meaning that after I fix it up, after I put it in MLS, after it goes on the market, and then the person has the inspection, they get their financing, it actually closes on average close to 4 months. You know, if I'm lucky, 3 months. So I always figure that it's going to take me 4 months on average to sell something. So that's my holding cost for 4 months. So my holding cost is how much money that it's going to cost me, which is the taxes, the insurance, and then of course the interest. So I pay cash and I use my own cash for everything. Most people don't and can't. But let's just say I use my own cash. I lend money to tons of people in Atlanta and all around. And I actually have over $10 million lent out right now to people, and I have plenty more to lend. But the thing is, when I lend money to people, I'm getting, 1.5% a month, right? I don't charge anything up front, but I'll get that 1.5% a month. Sometimes I'll do it for less or more depending on the deal. But if I am putting my own money into this deal, I don't have that money to lend to somebody else. So I'm still losing money. So what I figure is my money is worth at least 1% a month. So if I have a deal that's $300,000 tied up or whatever I'm paying for it, and I have it for 4 months, at 1% a month, if I have 300,000 in this property, $3,000 a month is my holding cost. And for 4 months, this is another $12,000 because I have this home. It's probably taking 4 months to sell. But the other holding costs I have are, like I said, taxes, insurance. I got the realtor fees, and then the biggest cost is my realtor fee. So when I list the home and sell it, most people will charge 6%, right? 3% to the buying agent and 3% to the selling agent. There's 2 agents involved. Now, most people can get a deal from the person listing it because there's a million people that list it, and most people will do it for 1%. You could probably even do it for less. And sometimes, people will pay more, but I pretty much pay 4%, right? I pay 3% to the agent that is bringing the buyer because they're really important, and if the home is actually on the market for a long time and it's not selling for what I want, sometimes I'll even offer the agent bringing the buyer 4%, just so they'll bring people. Like, it's amazing if you offer the person bringing the buyer to your home and extra money, all of a sudden you'll get a lot more people look at it because they're making an extra percent. The agents look out for themselves. So most of the time. Now, if it's a friend of yours and it's the agent, they probably, care about you, but most agents don't really have that connection with you and they just want the money. So I am going to pay 4%. I would assume that most investors are going to be paying around 4%. Some might pay less. Some investors are actually agents themselves and don't have to pay anything on the listing side, only 3% on the other side. But even if you're not paying anything, you still have some MLS costs and different things. But let's just assume that 4% is the best case scenario. So I'm paying 4% of what I sell it for. If I sell it for $350,000, I'm going to lose $14,000. I'm going to lose $14,000 in fees. So between all the costs, realtor fees, everything, I figure I'm going to lose 10%, right? At least 4% to realtor fees, at least 4% to holding costs, and probably another couple percent between, closing costs, all these different things, doing it both ways. So 10% would be my figure that I use when I am looking at buying property. So we're already at 10% on on fees, 10% on profit. So we're down to 20%. So now if I think I can get 350 for this, I'm down to 280,000 is what I'll pay for this property, right? The next thing that I'll do is I'll figure out how much money do I need to spend on this property to sell it for the 350. This property looks pretty good. I'm sure I'm gonna have to go in here and spend something. I don't know how much, but I've never gone to a property and not spent at least 3,000, 5,000. My average property that I actually go and rehab is in the $35,000 range, and I'm usually doing a lot of painting, flooring, and a few other things. But on this particular home, it's actually in much better shape than 90% of the homes I buy. So I would assume I would spend around 5,000 bucks fixing up whatever I need to fix up. So based on those numbers, we're going to deduct 35,000 for my profit, 35,000 for holding cost, and then another 5,000 in rehab. And this house would be somewhere in that range. So we're looking at 275, and then maybe a little bit less based on, once the home gets to like 350,000, I start looking at it a little bit closer. 85% of the homes I buy, I never even go to. I just buy them off pictures. Once you get to like $300,000, I start sending my inspector out there to go look at them because you're spending a lot more money. But typically homes that are like under 200,000, it's almost impossible. It's so rare that I go out to those homes, like 1 in 100 homes, it's under 200,000. 200 to 300,000, a few, 300,000 or more, a little bit more. Once you get to like 400,000 or 500,000, I start going to a lot of them. There's a lot of things that can cost a lot of money, foundations and different things. I just want to make sure on these expensive homes that I don't run into problems with. But just to give you an idea, this particular home, if you were a wholesaler, you should probably figure you could get around 270, 275 for it. So you'd want to now figure out how much money do you want to make? Do you want to make 10,000, 20,000, and then lower that off the 270, right? So, most people make at least 10,000. I've seen people make 50, 75,000 plus. So it's just a matter of how much you want to make, how low you can negotiate. And we can make a whole Zoom on negotiating because I can show you how to get this house for way less from the seller with them feeling good about it, just on negotiating the right way. But again, this home, assume that you're going to be able to get 270, 275, and then, lock it up for a little bit less so you can make your money on it. So that would be on this particular home. So people want to talk about private money lending. So yeah, we could talk about lending. Anyone that needs to borrow money, I'm definitely in Atlanta or within an hour of Atlanta. I lend a ton of money all the time. Transactional loans, like if you're selling stuff to hedge funds or anyone that basically won't let you use their money to buy the property and you need a double close or something like that, I do those every day. And then loans that for fix and flips, I do those, multiple of those every single week as well. The best thing is to hit me up on my email. Email is abraham@mmatl.com and just send me the information. We can talk. Or if you're friends on Facebook, just send me a message and then I'll give you my email to send me the information. But
so we'll do another Zoom too, with some examples of like private money he's already lent out, or if you guys, there's different ways you can borrow money. So we'll do that as well. But I definitely don't want to get him sidetracked. Abraham has a wealth of knowledge. I want to make sure I lock him in where he's at right now. So yeah,
if you're friends with me,
negotiation Zoom is going to be crazy too. That's going to be.
I negotiate like different than a lot of people, and I always get what I want if it's possible. Okay, so we'll definitely do some negotiating. Now, if you follow me on Facebook, I have made videos in the past on negotiating. So just watch that video. Like literally every time someone watches my negotiating video, they get so many more deals and so much better pricing. And not only that, the person they're getting it from feels really good about it. Like that's what's important. When you're doing a deal, it's really important that you're getting a good deal, but it's really important that the person you're buying it from also feels like you gave them a good deal. You never want to do a deal where both people didn't really win on it. So
just pay attention to the chat. I'm actually going to post the link to that video he's talking about. And I'll also make sure that you guys get all the email addresses and everything that we need in regards to any private money lending or transactional, whatever it is like that. Also, shout out to everybody who's posting this, taking the picture and posting on IG and all the other social networks. We really appreciate it. We're really trying to do some big things here. This is really just the beginning. But Abraham, are we done with this property? I want to make sure we get
I think we're done with. I think we're done with this property. If Andrew wants to ask any questions about it, cool. Again, because this property is 350,000, I might go out there and before I buy it and see if do I really only need to spend $5,000? But again, I gave you the concept. The numbers that I gave you are the numbers I gave you. Obviously, the rehab could be a little bit more or less. I could tell this house is in pretty good shape, so I don't think I would spend that much. And again, there's some homes that I need to update everything, and I'll tell you, I'll be able to tell by the neighborhood. I'll see the other homes that sold in the neighborhood. Are they updated? Did they sell for that price because they're updated or not? Let's get a couple more homes, a few more homes to comp, and
all right, perfect. Let's do it. Marcus, are you still with us, my guy? Can you unmute yourself? We'll grab your property next.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Yeah.
Help me out so I don't have to do a 10,000 finger scrolls here. Can you give us your property? He can put it up in Zoom first.
I got you. It's 280. It's 2880. Are you want me to type it back in the comment section?
No, just tell it to him right now.
2880.
Okay.
I'm typing it in.
Arlington Road, East Point, Georgia.
Fireton?
No, Arlington, A.
Arlington. Okay, Arlington.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, cool. So I know East Point, I have a little trick that I do. First of all, I don't believe Zestimates on almost anything in the city of Atlanta. Like South Fulton, if estimates almost half the time they're right, half the time they're so off, it makes no sense. So I don't look at Zestimates much on these, although sometimes they're right, but sometimes they're so far off. So this particular house is, everyone knows what I look at, right? I look at how many square feet, and I look at how many, what year it was built, 1970. So 1970 is actually newer-ish for East Point. Most of the homes at East Point that I buy are built in the 40s, 50s. So 70s is actually new for East Point. 70s is old for a lot of other towns, but for East Point, that's actually newer-ish. So I know that because I do a lot of stuff. I buy a lot of stuff all around here. But let's, I'm gonna need pictures at some point if we want to really get to the final number, but let's just assume I don't have pictures, how I would do it, okay? So this home is 1,335 square feet. So what I'm gonna do is here, I'm going to go up a little bit to 1,750 and go down, or I might even go to 1,500 to start, because East Point has a lot of homes that sold. And this one's built in 1970, so I'll go up to 1979. I'll go 10 years, all the way up to the 70s. Then I'll hit enter, or just click out of here, and what it does, it will show me all the homes that have sold in the neighborhood that fit that description. So I know the home is right here. So again, look, this is Camp Creek Parkway. This is 285. I don't really want to go on the other side of 285. I don't really want to go on the other side of Camp Creek Parkway unless I really have to. It's okay to do that, but the comps could be very, very different. See how this home, there's a home right here. It doesn't even have it in yellow because see this here is blocking it off because it knows it's a different neighborhood. But if I just click on here, it'll undo it, and then sometimes it'll show me more homes. But a lot of times it blocks it off because it knows it's a different neighborhood. So for this particular home, this is Arlington right here. If there were homes right here, I mean, it would literally be like a block or 2 blocks away, but it's on the other side of Camp Creek. I don't even like those comps. I would rather go to a comp way further away that was on the same side of Camp Creek, because I know Camp Creek's a major road and it could be a totally different neighborhood. So these are the ones that show up that are actually within the same square footage and the same years built or close, right? So this particular home here, it actually has the same Zestimate as the other one, pretty much. So this one has pictures of what it looks like, which is awesome because I could see what this comp sold for. It sold for 184,000. And look, this house sold exactly 1 month ago. You can't get a comp better than in the last month. This house literally sold the last month. This is a really, really good comp. The only thing is it's 10 years older. So because it's about 10 years older, it's probably worth a little bit less, because every 10 years makes a home worth a little bit more typically, except in certain neighborhoods. In this particular neighborhood, it's probably going to be in better shape, right? Because they built homes differently in 1970, they built in 1958. So there might be a little bit more updated, like in the wiring, in the plumbing, stuff like that. In the 50s, they used more cast iron. In the 70s, they started using PVC. So it depends on how much how much this is renovated. Sometimes it's a lot better, sometimes it's not, and that's what you got to check. But I know it's close enough. So this home sold for $184,000. This home, let's look at the pictures. I mean, it's livable, but it's not like super nice. I mean, the paint's chipping here. I mean, you can see the paint's really bad here. So it was a really bad job. It looks like the stairs are kind of chewed up by a dog, or a carpet was on it and it got ripped off. So it's not like in great shape. You definitely have to do some work to this house. Here's the next room. I mean, it's okay. The windows look okay. The paint is okay. So nothing stands out on this picture. It looks like in this picture, they actually painted the house gray. Based on the last few pictures, I could tell that whoever sold this house painted it. So they did some rehab to it, right? I could tell that this is nice and painted white. This is nice and painted gray. So they definitely did some rehab to it. They didn't change the fan. This is still old, but they painted it. Painting a house could cost $5 or $10 grand at least. So I know they spent some money on it, depending on how big the house is. Now I'm looking at the outside of the house. I know they didn't do a really nice remodel job, because if they did a really nice remodel job, they would have painted all this brick probably white or gray, and they would have cleaned up the yard a little bit better. But it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look like it's super renovated. But I could tell by the inside pictures that somebody did something to the house before they sold it, but they didn't do like a really nice job. They did a good enough job just to get by. Now I'm looking at these pictures. I could tell this house also has a basement. This basement here, again, I told you, Zillow very rarely will put the square footage of the basement. So even though this house on Zillow showed it was 1,300 or 1,400 square feet, that's probably just the top. This one actually has a basement. So now I got to look at the house that we're comping. Does that have a basement? If that house that we're comping has a basement, this would be perfect, because they both have basements and they both are on the same square foot. If the house that we're looking at doesn't have a basement, I would take off some money, because the basement's going to add money to it. Okay. So these are all the pictures on this house. That gave me a really good idea of what this house shape it's in. It looks like it's in good enough shape to almost rent. Probably needs a little bit more, but it still needs some work, because they cut corners and did a small job. And that house just sold for 184, and it's a very similar house. And it talks about here, if you didn't see the pictures, you could see here that it's a split level. So it has that second level underneath that probably, it's definitely not counted in that 1,200 square feet. 1,200 square feet is definitely only the top. So I know that. And now I'm going to look back at the Arlington, because that was actually the best comp. Now here's another comp here. Oh, this is awesome. So perfect. Man, we got two awesome comps. So this house is, again, almost the same exact house square foot wise as the house we're comping. But look at this house. I could tell by this picture that this house, whoever bought it, like pimped this house out. This house was probably gutted and has all new kitchen, all new bath, has all new flooring, paint. The way I could tell that is, this is a picture of what it looked like at some point before this person rehabbed it right here. It's all brick. It doesn't have a new roof. I could tell by looking at it. And now I could tell on this picture when it just sold, look at the difference. It's all painted. They put like these nice shutters on. They painted, this is like a brand new like color thing people are doing. And I could tell everything's new. So I know this house is like super nice. Now, unfortunately on Zillow right now, it doesn't have pictures of the inside. So that is when I would go to MLS or go to realtor.com and look for inside pictures. Let me go ahead and open realtor.com. Hold on, put this house in there. If you can't find it on realtor.com, again, just find a real estate agent that will find it for you on MLS and show you the pictures if you don't have access. And then you could see, but I don't even have to look at the pictures, because I know that it was really nice. just based on the outside and based on what it sold for. So here is realtor.com. And they don't even have pictures on realtor.com. So you're probably gonna have to go to MLS. So a lot of times, realtor.com will have pictures of what it looked like when it just sold, but this particular house, it doesn't. So can't use realtor.com, but it actually does most of the time. But again, let's just assume this house is super nice, right? All new shaker cabinets, got granite, it's got all new floors, everything. This home sold for $375. Around the same size, and it just sold, look at that, last 3 weeks. So this is like an awesome, awesome comp. So what I would do is I would know that this particular house, if it's like super pimped out, will go for $375. If it's just like half-assed done, it might go for $184 to where it still needs a lot of work. And those are the two things I would look at. So let's go back to the house. It's literally sold for like double the price. But keep in mind, to get it from this condition to this condition, probably is going to cost another $100,000+ It could be $100,000+ depending on how much work you do and if you fix the basement up and all that stuff. So this would be a good home to maybe put $100,000 in and get $375. But again, if you're getting $375, you're really still not getting $375 because you're losing 10% holding costs, realtor fees, closing costs. So this person sold it for $375. They probably got $340. So if somebody put $100,000 into this house, got it to $285, they could probably make 50 grand on it. So that's a pretty good deal.
So Abraham, we got a question in the chat. Are you adjusting for ARV for BD? I'm assuming that's bedrooms and bath. Yeah.
So the question is, so I told everybody there's 3 things I do right when I go to Zillow. Okay. What I do is I go to sold, and then I go here to more, and I look at square footage and year built. The one thing that I didn't do is, someone pointed out earlier, I didn't put in like acreage or land. I didn't put in how big the land is, because in most Atlanta properties, it doesn't matter so much because they're going to be similar enough, unless that one that I showed you was 6 acres. That's a totally different house. We couldn't look at that one. And then they're saying, well, you didn't look at bed and baths, right? 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 4 bedroom, 1 bath. Like, how come I didn't use that? So for the most part, if I'm doing a full renovation, I'm going to make everything at least a 3 bedroom, 2 bath. So if the home is a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, I don't even care about if it's 4 bedroom or 2.5 baths, because it's similar enough. Now, homes that are like 3 bedroom or 2 bedroom is a big difference, and homes that have 1 bath or 2 baths is a big difference. Once you get to 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, pretty much every additional bed and bath isn't that big of a deal for the most part in the places that we're looking right now. Anything under 3 bed and 2 bath is a big deal. So 1.5 bath is worth significantly less than 2 bath, and 1 bath is worth a lot less. Now, I do take that into consideration when I look at homes. I wanted to kind of do a whole bunch of homes with people, and kind of like, as I saw that come into play, I'll talk about it. But on this particular home that we're comping, it is a 4 2.5. So I know it's already got at least 3 bedrooms. I know it's already got at least 2 bathrooms. So when I'm comping this home, I'm looking for other homes that have at least 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. If it has more or less, if it has more, I don't really care so much, because it doesn't add a whole lot of value or take away a whole lot of value. But if it is less than 3 bedrooms and less than 2 baths, that will take away some. And typically what I'll do is, a bathroom is worth, depending on what type of bath, but on average, a bathroom is worth an extra $5,000 to $10,000, depending on the house. And a bedroom is probably worth around the same on these $200,000, type homes. Now, if you get into more expensive homes, it could change. And I will go home by home, and then whoever sent me the address, I'll talk about that particular home, like how much that will affect it. But because as soon as I saw this home, it was at least 3.2, and the comps that I looked at were at least a 3.2. I know that it's not going to matter that much. See, this home is a 4.2, 4 bedroom, 2 bath. This one is a 4 bedroom, 3 bath. So whether they're 4 bedroom or 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom is definitely better. It's going to add $10,000 to the house, but $10,000 isn't that big of a deal when you're looking at this home right now for me. So If it was like a 2-bedroom, that would hurt it a lot. Like a 2-bedroom from a 3-bedroom would drastically lower the price, but a 3 to a 4 only increases it a little bit. But luckily, these 3 comps all have at least 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, so I didn't have to discuss that in this particular case. So let's get back to comping this property. So this property here, I don't have pictures, so I'm not sure what condition it's in. But assuming that in East Point, most of these types of homes need a pretty good rehab. Most homes, that people send me in East Point, not all, but most, are going to look a little bit worse than this one. Probably a lot worse than this one, actually. Most homes in East Point need definitely paint and flooring, definitely, has broken windows, definitely probably good chance it needs a roof, good chance it needs HVAC, good chance it needs all kinds of other stuff, appliances and countertops. And so I think the 184, again, is just getting it to where it's almost livable. 375 is making it very, very nice. So what I would do is figure out what your exit strategy is on this one. Are you trying to sell this to someone that wants to like make it like really, really nice and make it a $375,000 home? Or are you trying to sell it to someone that you think, you have to know the area to know like what's more likely to happen in this area. East Point's a really crazy area, and it could go either way. Half the people make it super nice, half the people don't, so you can kind of pick. But let's just say we wanted to use, and here's another house right here that's similar that only sold for 130, and this one you can tell is even the worse shape than the other one. It needs a roof. If it needs a roof, there's a good chance of a lot of water damage and stuff inside. That is a lot of bad things. But again, this house also is at least 3 bedroom and 2 baths, so it's a very similar type home. So to comp this house, what I would do is figure out per square footage. As you see, this home here that's in bad shape, just by guessing, I'm going to assume that the house that you are having me comp is similar condition to this house. So if you see this home here is 1,247 square feet, it's sold for 130. It's sold for a little bit over 100 square foot, needing to be probably majorly rehab. Okay, a home that is in pretty much livable condition, but still not really nice, just sold for $150 a square foot. So I know that if the house is like in really bad shape, it's going to go for closer to $100 a square foot, 110, 120, depending on how good or bad it is. If it's really bad, where you just need a crazy amount, it could go for 100 or even less. So I would need to see the condition of that house, but assuming it was in the condition of this other one that was 130, this Arlington home, you'd probably want to lock up for around $100 a square foot, $110 a square foot. If it's in better condition, like that second one, you could probably lock it up for $125 a square foot. And then we know once it's super, super nice, it's going to go for like $250 a square foot based on what that 300. So once in pretty much South Fulton County, I use square footage a lot to figure out what a house is worth, even more than the homes, because the homes are just all over the place. So I know a home in East Point, and again, this just proves it, all this stuff on Zillow just proves it, that a home that is in really bad shape, that needs a lot, is going to be $100 to a little bit over $100 a square foot. A home that's livable is going to be closer to $150 a square foot. And a home that's really, really nice is going to be over $250 a square foot. So again, I would have to see the condition of that house, but I would probably assume it's in this type of condition and try to lock it up for that price, around 100 or so a square foot, and then see what you can get for it.
Real quick, we got a question by Franklin. Franklin, does style matter much? Build style matter much?
So in a lot of cities, it matters a lot. In some cities, it doesn't matter as much. Now, if you have if I'm comping properties in a neighborhood, and you want to comp ranches to ranches, you want to comp 2 stories to 2 stories. Like a 2,000 square foot ranch is always going to be better than a 2,000 square foot 2-story, because people don't like going up in stairs if it's the same square footage on the same lot. But in Atlanta, in the Atlanta market, a ranch and a 2-story is close enough to where you have to maybe adjust $10,000 to $20,000 depending on the price of the home for a 2-story compared to a ranch. Now, if you're in a neighborhood, every single home looks the same, and you have a home that looks different, your home's probably gonna be worth a little bit less because it's different from in that neighborhood. Now, if it was in a different neighborhood, it could be worth more than the other houses. But you have to kind of look at the neighborhood and see what the neighborhood looks like and what people that are buying in the neighborhood want. Like in some neighborhoods, people want 2-story homes. In some neighborhoods, people want ranches. So in the neighborhoods that people want ranches are going to go for a premium. They're going to go for more money. In areas that people mostly buy 2 stories, then the ranch might not be worth a whole lot more because people like 2 stories in that area. So it kind of depends on the area. But typically, when I comp, I'm gonna always try to comp a ranch to a ranch and a 2-story to a 2-story. However, it's very easy to comp one to the other and just basically adjust a little bit of money for the one that's better, or take off a little bit of money for the one that's worse. That answers the
they're
style.
saying that there's a picture of it in the on
In
the
Redfin?
Redfin. Yeah.
Okay, all right, so Redfin would be the other thing after Realtor.com. But if I didn't see it in Realtor.com, I just happen to go to Realtor.com a lot to look for pictures. And if I don't do it, I just get it on MLS. So if you don't have access to MLS, let's go to Redfin and see what Redfin.
Now, real quick, while he's doing that, if you're an agent, first of all, this is for everybody, right? If you're a wholesaler right now, you should change your name so that you put that you're a wholesaler and that you're, put wholesaler / JV, so that every time your name pops up or you write a comment in the chat, people can see that. I would also recommend you put your phone number in there, right? So you want your name, phone number, and what is it that you're pushing? What is it that you're doing the most of? So change your name so that you can be building relationships in the chat. i.e., if you're a realtor, we're talking about, hey, look, you need to reach out to a realtor so you can get access. If you're a realtor, you should have your name, your phone number, and that you are a realtor so that people can reach out to you to do business with you, not just using for comps, but also using you to sell deals that they don't need to be sold on cash buyer level, but can be sold on the market. I got a lot of sub-2 people in here. Daryl's in here, Ty's in here. Shout out to these guys. You guys put your stuff in there, right? There's closers in there in this group. There are people who are great at doing creative deals. You want to put that in your name and also put your phone number. So Raymond, that's great, but as soon as the chat starts talking, we're not going to be able to find that text, that message of your phone number unless somebody saves the chat. So you want to go to your name on the side, right click it, change your name. You don't have to have your full name, right? Just put Raymond, put your phone number, put that you're an agent. Alex, perfect. There you go. And that's how you guys can be able to do business in the chat. Okay, this is a community that we're building so you get the game and make money together.
Okay, guys, so here's a picture. I only see one picture on Redfin, but whatever. We got a good picture of the front. By the way, on Zillow, a lot of times, there's this like blob right here and it blocks you out. And there's a trick usually that I can get around. You just basically click and then you could get around. And now you could, if you're at the right angle, you could see it. So I'm at a different angle now, and now I can see it. I could get rid of those blobs most of the time on Zillow just by clicking this arrow and then kind of doing a different angle. So this particular house, I can see the front. Obviously, it's not renovated, right? It's not, the brick isn't painted. I'll know that if someone renovated it very nice, they painted the outside. This is old shutters. The brick is old. I can see the roof. The gutters are falling out. So I could tell it's probably not rehabbed almost at all or very little. So this house might be a house that I would probably price somewhere between 100 and 125 a square foot. If I was to buy this house, and again, I haven't seen the pictures, but assuming I'm guessing what it looks like, I would probably pay somewhere between 100 and 125 a square foot for this house. That's what I would pay. If you brought this house to me and it's 1,300 square feet, it'd probably be like at 100 a square foot. And unless I look at it and it's way worse than I think, or it's way better, I would probably be at around 130,000 on this house. If it looks better, it could be more. If it looks worse, it could be less. But I might even pay 150,000 for this house. I don't know. But again, without seeing the pictures, if we have pictures of some homes I'm comping, it would be even better because then I could get really detailed on how much I think stuff will cost and why I'm figuring it. But a safe number on this home to lock this up, if you want to make money on it, is under $100 a square foot. If you lock it up for 100, 110, you could probably still make money on it. East Point people, the people that like the rehab in East Point will definitely pay, you know, premiums if you find the right person. So again, I don't know what you locked it up for, or where you have it. You could tell us now, but that's what my gut feeling would be on this one of what I would pay and what I think somebody else might pay and what it would go for when it's fixed up. Again, when it's fixed up, it could go for 350, 375. But you're probably gonna have to spend over 100,000 in it and take that time. Okay. So
Can you unmute again and tell us what you got it on?
I haven't got it locked up yet. I just talked with her today.
Okay, perfect. So do you know what you should get it at right now? So for real, you should just get off the phone with us, get off the Zoom and go straight, lock it up at the right price and come back.
Okay.
I haven't seen the pictures of it. So again, keep in mind the prices I'm telling you is just off me guessing what I think it looks like, which I'm probably right because I'm right most of the time, but I'm not always right. So if the house looks different, you know, it could be a little bit better, it could be a little bit worse, but that's going to be a very close range of what it should be, of what you should lock it up for or what you could sell it for.
Okay, thank you.
I would be very surprised that I wouldn't pay at least 135 for it. I probably could pay even more, but that would be like almost worst case scenario, and then you know figure out from there.
Okay.
All right, perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and paste all the contact information you guys will need in regards to everything we're talking about. Next is Ralph, my guy. Unmute yourself, man.
So Ralph, so Ralph is awesome. We actually spent all Saturday together. So I was with Ralph the whole day Saturday. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he came and he trained at my gym, and we rolled and had fun together, and then we went out and looked at properties. So there was a property that somebody was trying to sell me that was actually in North Georgia mountains. It was actually it was almost like a resort. And so we went up there Saturday to buy it. I thought I was gonna buy it. And then when I got there, the guy changed the price a little bit. And then it was also in worse condition. He sent me like these videos, and me and Ralph were looking at these videos on the way up. It's an 1.5-hour drive. And we're like, man, this place is gorgeous. It's so nice. We got there. It was like, what the shit? These pictures were like 5 years old. So it wasn't as good. Plus the guy like kind of changed his price. And he actually got foreclosed on Tuesday. So I went up for Saturday to try to buy it and get it out of foreclosure, you know, buy it before the foreclosure auction on Tuesday. But he actually couldn't sell it to anybody, and it got foreclosed on. He lost it. I was gonna pay 1.1 million for it. I was gonna give him 800,000 up front to pay off the mortgage and have a little bit extra money, and then the other 300,000 I was gonna pay him over like a long period of time because you know, I didn't really want to pay much more than the 800. I was hopefully going to cash flow more than 10,000 a month to pay him that. But anyhow, it got foreclosed on. Only one person went to the auction. I wish I went to the auction. I didn't go to the auction. So I looked it up. Only one person was at the auction, and the starting bid was 745, and it sold for 745. Now, if I was there, I would have bid it up to at least over in the 800. But again, when I was thinking I was going to pay 1.1, I also thought I was going to be a lot better shape. So whoever bought for 745 got a steal, but I would have bid it up to at least the 800s, but I wasn't there. So anyhow, Ralph, that's what happened with that house on Tuesday. It went foreclosure and someone bought it for 745. But I've actually bought a few houses from Ralph lately, and we have a few under pending right now that we're about to close on. So Ralph lives about an hour and a half from me. So he's not in Atlanta much, but we're gonna spend some days.
He's busy getting Atlanta money though. Ralph, you got a deal you want us to look at?
Yeah, actually, I got a deal, not a deal, a lead that just came in today, and I thought this would be great for example purposes because it's a 2-1, but it's a square footage that's actually similar to a lot of 3-2s in the area. So I want to see how Abraham adjusts for that.
Perfect.
Okay,
Tell
right.
us the address.
So
Did you put it in the? Did you put it
There
in the
it is.
chat?
Just put it.
Okay, 30315. All right. So I have like these little tricks that I use for like these South Fulton. South Fulton is probably the hardest to comp because South Fulton is all over the place. When I say South Fulton, anything like south of Midtown is South Fulton. 30310, 30311, 30312, 30313, 30314, 30315, 30316, sort of, even though it's a little bit east, 303. 30317 is expensive, but it's also a little tricky. 30318, and then 30319 is good. 30319 is Brookhaven, so it's not really South Fulton. But anything 30310 to 30318 is South Fulton to me for the most part. And then like College Park, East Point, and Hapeville, all those are South Fulton. So all those are a little tricky because when you comp those, stuff is all over the place. So what I usually do on those is I usually figure out a good good square footage price for homes in that area. And then I use that square footage price. I just kind of multiply by the square foot. But let's go to this house. So this one, by the way, to me, 30315. And again, these are just my opinions. Like I buy tons of homes, and my least favorite area is South Fulton. I love buying homes everywhere, and I do buy a ton of stuff in South Fulton just because there's so much available there, and I get offered so much. But it's my least favorite area. Like if someone tells me a zip code and it's a South Fulton zip code, I look at it and I try to buy it, but it's like not as fun for me because first off, the homes are a lot older and the work that's needed is a lot harder. And usually the permits and stuff, if I have to do something major, is a lot more of a hassle. East Point in particular is like one of the worst cities in the state for getting permits and stop work orders and all that stuff. So there's lots of stuff. The reason why it's really important to me is because it costs a lot more money, right? Earlier, we talked about my holding costs and all these different things that I need to cover when I sell it. Well, if I'm buying a home in East Point and I'm doing the work, my holding costs I know is gonna be a lot higher because I'm gonna have to get permits for sure almost because they stop everything. But on top of that, permits aren't at the end of the world, but it usually makes my labor go up. And on top of that, it makes my holding time go way up. So instead of me holding stuff for 3 to 4 months at East Point, it's like I'm lucky if I get out of it in 6 months. A lot of times it takes me almost a year because with some of these permits and some of these stop work orders, it could really slow stuff down. So if I'm buying stuff in East Point, I need to have more room than if I buy stuff somewhere else. I love buying everywhere else. I love buying Gwinnett County. I love buying Norfolk. I love buying Cobb County. I love buying Rockdale. DeKalb is my favorite by far. Clayton County, Douglas County. It doesn't matter. Any county, if you get to, if you could drive there in an hour, I love it. South Fulton is the one that I probably buy a ton of stuff there again because there's just so much stuff that gets offered there. But it's definitely the place I do the least rehabs in. I buy a lot of stuff in South Fulton, and a lot of it I just sell to other investors that I know like those particular areas, right? I have my investors that like East Point. I have my investors that like College Park. I have my investors that like Pittsburgh, Mechanicsville, whatever it is, and those, you know, West End. And I sell those to them for the most part. I know what they want to pay. I try to pay just a little bit less just so I could make something and sell it to them. Once in a while, I do some work in South Fulton, and I do make money there doing the rehabs. But halfway through the rehab, I say, why the fuck did I do this job here? It's just I always have problems. So again, if you have the right contractors and the right people that work in that area, they can do it smoothly, but it just doesn't go smooth most of the time for me. So this particular area. So this is a very unique house, Ralph, because it's a 2-1, right? It's less than 3 bedrooms, less than 2 bath. It's if you rehab a home, you have to make it a 3 bedroom, 2 bath to get all the money for it. Anything over 3 beds, anything over 2 baths is a bonus. It will go for more, and it's nice. But under 3 bedroom and 2 bath makes a lot of people not want to buy it. So this particular home, as you see, is 1,569 square feet, which is great because on a 1,500 square foot home, there's no reason why it shouldn't be at least a 3 bedroom and 2 bath. There's no reason why. Back when they built this home, which I could tell you was way before I was born, without even looking, 1954, they just made a lot of 2 bedroom, 1 bath homes because I guess people like sharing baths, and I have no idea why, but they did it back then. So, but this particular home is a great house because of the square footage. You could make it a 3-2. So I'm gonna look at this home really fast. What I would do is, I can see the home on this side of it is they painted the outside. So somebody took care of it and made it nice. This home looks like it's been rehabbed really nice, or it could even be a newer home. So I know on both sides of this house, it's actually a nice house. I'm gonna look around the block. This home just got rehabbed. So this is a really nice home. This home here is nice. So I could tell this neighborhood is a good one. Like, see how it has that colored door? So I know this house is just rehabbed. It's got the gray outside paint. It's got that colored door. Somebody rehabbed these homes. So I know this neighborhood this, at least the homes right around here were rehab, so that's a good sign that you could get more money for them. We'll look to see what they all sold for when we comp it. But so this particular home, to me, the thing that just stares at me right away, it looks tiny. Like, I don't know what it looks like to you guys, but it looks tiny compared to these other homes. So is it really 1,500 square feet upstairs? Sometimes Zillow does add the basement to the home, and that's how they got 1,500 if this has a basement. So I want to be really careful to make sure that the 1,500 is upstairs. So this is a home I might go and check out, or if somebody had a whole bunch of good pictures and videos, I wouldn't even need to go there. I literally buy 85% of the homes just on pictures. And if I see pictures and there's a whole lot of like wasted space and living rooms and dining rooms and all kinds of stuff that don't make sense, I know this could be a 3-2, then you know, that's good. But let's go ahead and comp this house. So 73 Meldon. All right. So again, this home is 1,500 square feet. Now I am going to take into consideration it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. That's going to hurt it for now. Because even if I add based on 1,500 square feet, I know I could add a bedroom. I know I could add a bath, but it's going to cost some money. So I'm going to basically consider this almost like a 3-2, but I'm going to deduct a lot of money for what it's going to cost me to make it a 3-2. Because it's 1,500 square feet, I know I could do it, right? Unless it's some crazy, crazy layout, which on a 1,500 square foot home, it's got to be super crazy, unless it counted the basement. So I would want to make sure that the basement is not counted in that 1,500 first. That would be important. All right, now, that's 73 Meldon. So that's this neighborhood right here. This is the home right here. So when you go to Zillow, it's going to highlight, you see this, it's like white highlighted. That's the home that I just typed in. The 73 Meldon is this 197 home, and it's highlighted so I could see it. So I could see, this is the reason why I love Zillow so much. I could see every single home. Oh, by the way, look, you got to be careful to change your settings if you go to another home. This particular home is 1,500 square feet, so let's just go up to 1,750. But I need to get rid of 1979 and change it to like 1959, because that was a 1950s house. You got to make sure you change this every time, or else you won't get good comps. So now I just did 1959, and let me double check it. Yeah. All right. So
while you doing that, quick question from to Darius. From pictures, how can you tell if a house needs to be torn down or just needs to be taken to the studs?
That's a great question. So basically, most of like 99% of the time I'm buying stuff from wholesalers that are like not trying to like totally screw me over. So like I'll ask them these questions, and they'll usually give me good pictures to where they're not hiding too much. Like if somebody like purposely hides a bunch of stuff or lies to me, you know, I'll be very careful the next time I deal with them. Now the reason why, if someone asked earlier, why don't I go look at these homes? The reason why I don't look at homes is because as soon as someone sends a deal out, I want to be the first one to get it if it's a good deal. And most people need to go look at the homes, and that slows down the shot of them getting it because they got to go look at the home. You know, sometimes they need an inspection, sometimes it's occupied, sometimes whatever, and it takes time to get somebody in there. I'm easy, like I'll just buy it. I've bought, I mean, literally 1,000 homes probably in the last few years, and I've very, very rarely got screwed over. Like, let's just say I get screwed over once in a while. The amount of homes that I was able to buy because I was able to buy it off pictures and be able to close on it right away and not have to go inspect it. I made so much more money, so much more, like 100,000 times more money by being able to buy homes, not having to go to it because I was able to lock up a deal right away, than if I was to look at every single home and like maybe not buy one home because I made a mistake on it. I'd rather make a mistake on a home and buy 10 good ones than lose all 10 or lose, you know, 80% of them because someone else beat me to it. So it's in dollars and cents. It's not worth saving a little bit of money on one home and not making a mistake on one home to lose a whole bunch of good deals, if that makes any sense. If you have any question on that, let me know, but I will definitely buy any single home without looking at it, especially if it's under a few $100 grand and you give me good pictures. Now, if your pictures suck and you don't give me good pictures, then I might have to send someone, or I might have to have you go back out and send me pictures. But for the most part, I've very rarely had somebody send me deals and purposely hide like bad stuff. Although it happens once in a while, it's very rare, and I usually could kind of sniff them out to some degree. But what was the question before we got to that? So I know what we were going on, because I was gonna move on to Compin, but was there a question, Eddie, right before that?
No, we can move to Compin.
Okay, so this particular home was 1,500 square feet. So I put this in, and these are the homes that came up. Again, why do I love Zillow? Because I could zoom in. This right here, this box right, so I know everybody knows right now, Highway 54 is a busy highway. I don't want to go on that side of it because the houses could be different. So I'm on this side. My house is right here. I want to basically not go too far here because this is like commercial and different type of neighborhood. This right here is fine. This is the same neighborhood. So I would basically go to this highway here and cut this out, 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 maybe go up a little bit more and comp every single thing in this box right here is where I would comp. Now look, my home is right here. This home, if there's homes here, these might be closer, but guess what? These homes that are further away are much better to comp because they're in the same neighborhood. They're within this boundary of, busy road. So I would definitely like this home, even though it's 7 blocks away, better than a home over here that, is in a different neighborhood, it's commercial and that's 1 block away. So that's why I don't like PropStream or MLS when you're comping homes, because you don't get to like zoom in, zoom out and see every single little home and be able to figure out what's up with that neighborhood. And again, if I have a home here and I'm comping a home that's here, it's a block away, but this home is going to be much better for this home than this home for that home. So that's why how far it is. When people say, oh, I have a home, it's only a quarter of a mile could be a different country, or a quarter of a mile could be the same neighborhood, basically. So the quarter of a mile doesn't mean much, but the only way to tell is to have a map and be able to click on every single house and see the difference. Now, keep in mind, every single home here that's in yellow fits this description. They're all between 1,000 square feet, 1,750, and they're all before 1959. So if I want to even zoom in on less homes, I could change these numbers, but I know there is a lot of good comps here. So let's just look at them. We could just hover over the yellow and we could see the square footage better on the back. So this is a 3.2, 1,700 square feet. We know this is better without even looking at the house closer, because it's, first of all, it's bigger, but secondly, because it's got 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. So we'll look at these all. This one here, again, it's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, but it's it's a little bit bigger. This one here is a 3 bedroom, 2 baths. It's the same exact size, a 3 bedroom, 2 bath. This is a 3 bedroom, 2. So almost every single one of these is a 3 bedroom, 2 bath. So what that tells me is that we have to make this house a 3 bedroom, 2 bath to make it worth anywhere near what these homes are worth. This one only has 1 bathroom. These are 4 2. So almost every home has 3 bedrooms and 2 baths with the exception of a few. So I know I'm gonna have to make this 3 bedroom, 2 bath to make it worth what these homes are worth. Now, I could tell that these homes right here are fixed up, a good bit of them, because of what they said. So look at this home. I just clicked on one. I could tell by the inside, you could tell that somebody rehabbed this. Look, this is brand new light fixtures, brand new flooring. It was staged. This is a nice house. Like, I don't have but this one picture. If I go to realtor.com, I don't want to waste a lot of time to do that right now. If I go to realtor.com, I might find them. But if I go to MLS, I'll 100% find every picture. But I don't need to. I know this house was pimped out. This house was, I guarantee it's got a brand new kitchen, brand new bathrooms, brand new flooring, paint. Some of these have new roofs, new HVAC, new windows. I just know this house is a very nice house. So look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the square footage of this house. Because again, in South Fulton, I look at square footages a lot because it's easier. And this is South Fulton. Anything is 30315, so I know that's where it is. This home pimped out, sold for $200 a square foot, right? It's 1,700 square feet and it sold for $335. To get this house, so let's look at the other ones. This is one. This one there's a lot of comps, so I can look at others. This one here, I could tell is very nice also, because look, the picture here is what it looked like when the person bought it at some point, and now it looks like this. So you could tell that it was pimped out. It was a totally good, nice new renovation. So I click on this and I could see it's got new windows, new doors, new siding, everything's new. So I guarantee you the whole inside is new too, because all this siding is new. Like, they don't have that back when they built this home. So I know this home is pimped out, really nice, just like the other one. Now this home sold for a little bit over $200 a square foot. So the last one sold for 200, this one sold for 225. Let's look at these other expensive homes. This one here, again, I could tell by the outside of the home, this is all new. More than likely, when we get pictures and look on the MLS, the whole inside is going to be new. I guarantee you this home at some point was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It's now a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So this one sold for 305. Now, what's unique is that this one might have a basement. I don't know. So it might have extra square footage that is not on Zillow. But again, it more than likely has some extra space more than the 1138. But we'd have to go there to look at it to see, but that would be my hunch. But as you can see, all these really nice homes are going for 200, 300 a square foot. Mostly 200 to 225, 230. So I know that, and here, let's look at the cheap homes that sold lately, right? So here's the one that sold for 80,000. So this one just sold literally 2 months ago. It's a big home, but it's falling apart. If you look at the pictures, which I don't know why I didn't come up, but you can tell by just this little picture, this house is all boarded up, the wood's all rotten, the inside's probably pretty bad or needs to be gutted. This one sold for 80 bucks a square foot. Whoever bought this home got a hell of a deal on it because I guarantee you this home was never listed. See, it was probably bought by a wholesaler or by an investor, because what this tells me is it was never listed on the MLS. So if it's not listed on the MLS, how did this person sell this home? They sold this home by probably somebody cold calling them and buying this home. So this was probably bought by someone getting cold called, and an investor bought it and is probably going to fix it up. Now, it would be not a terrible idea to look at a home like this and see who bought it, because whoever bought it might sell it and flip it to you for 100,000, 120,000 without doing any work to it. And now you could, now sell it to somebody else for more, because they actually got a really good deal on this home, because they paid like a crazy low price, $47 a square foot. Even in this rough of shape, it's probably still worth $75 a square foot. But again, it depends how bad it is. Now, if it's a tear down, it might only be worth 80,000. But again, this is a house you have to go to and look at, is it a tear down or not, and go from there. But again, here's a home that sold for $120 a square foot. This is probably, Ralph, something similar to the home that you just showed me. This home here is less than 2 baths. It's 1150 square feet. Your home shows is a little bit bigger, but it might have used some of the basement for it. This home is probably in a similar condition and shape. That home just sold for $120 a square foot, and I mean $120, and it's 1,150 square feet. So it sold for just over 100 a square foot. If I had to bet, I would say this home, not finished, is worth around $100 a square foot. If somebody was to go in there and figure out the rehab cost, I think they'd be able to sell it like this home, 200 to 225 a square foot, maybe 250 a square foot even. But so you'd have to go ahead and figure out how much is the rehab. The rehab on that home is probably going to be at least 100,000. We'll make another Zoom on how I figure out rehabs, because I have a really fast, easy way to do rehabs, and I'm pretty much almost dead accurate every single time, or close enough to where you don't have to be super accurate. But getting back to comping this house. Going back to this house, we just saw that all the really, really nice homes sold for 200, 225, maybe 250 a square foot. And the really rough ones sold for 50, which might be a tear down, or someone just stole it. Or the last one sold for just over 100 a square foot. So this is a home that probably is worth buying for $100 a square foot. However, I would need to verify that 1,500 square feet is all above ground and none of it's basement. So if some of that is basement, I would take off. But assuming this whole thing was above ground, it's probably a home that is worth paying around 100 a square foot for. But if I had to guess, just based on the picture, based on the picture, I think that it might be less than 1,500 square feet. That's just my guess. I could be wrong. So if it's really 1,500 square feet, it's worth 150 grand to buy it for. And if it's less, it could be 100. 125, 120. I have to see how big the house is and how again, you didn't send me pictures of the house. I don't know what shape it's in, but that's just kind of a guess based on what I see here and what I see. But I know this would be a desirable house for someone to rehab because all the homes next to it have been rehabbed. So that's kind of like what I would say of how to comp this particular home. Let's look at some homes. Anyone have any homes like in Gwinnett County, Cobb County, DeKalb County? Let's look at some homes like in those counties because those are,
Let's see. Breakthrough Nation. I'm not sure what your name is, but that's another thing, guys. Like when you
Rockdale, even like Conyers or Douglasville or
when you have this platforms like this,
Henry
put
County.
your name so that we can be able to identify you better. But Breakthrough Nation, you're next. Do you have a property that's in one of those areas Abraham just spoke of?
If you have a home in South Fulton, we just went through a few homes in South Fulton, East Point. We just went through 30315. They're very similar. Like homes that need a full remodel, it's worth paying $100,000 for it. If homes that need not a full remodel but still need a lot of work are worth paying $120, $125 a square foot for it. Homes that are a lot nicer could be worth paying $150 a square foot for. Once they're like super pimped out nice, they're worth, depending on the area, $200 to $300 a square foot. But to pimp those houses out, it costs, anywhere from 60 to 80 bucks a square foot to do it. So you got to figure that's the rehab cost. And again, we'll do other Zooms. By the way,
I got one for you.
I just want everyone to know, starting Monday, if you're not friends with me on Facebook, you're crazy, first of all, because I'm on Facebook all the time. So if you're not friends on Facebook, you're just crazy. But if you are friends with me on Facebook, I do post videos. I used to post lots of videos. I've been busy lately, but if you go back and look at videos I posted, I teach all kinds of stuff that will help you. But starting next Monday, every single day, I'm going to have at least one video posted every single day for the rest of the time, forever. So if you're friends with me on Facebook, you're going to see tons of videos. And these videos are going to be every single topic that you could possibly think of. It's going to be real estate. It's going to be business. It's going to be how to compound. It's going to be how to negotiate. It's going to be how to come up with financing properties without using any of your money, how to find private lenders, how to do seller financing, how to do sub-twos. It doesn't matter. If it has to do with money, if it has to do with business, I'm going to talk about it. And every single video I make, I'm going to ask you what you want to see me talk about next. And that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to make more videos about that. So start following and start watching my videos. I'm going to have a YouTube channel that's going to be full of videos by next week and all kinds of other platforms. So
real quick, for everybody else that's awesome. What about IG and TikTok? We are going to get him on the IG and TikTok.
So here's the thing. I'm on Facebook all the time. I actually do now have a TikTok account, Instagram account I've had for a long time. I'm never on it, but I have a couple people that are going to run my TikTok and Instagram. So you're going to see a lot of stuff on TikTok. Like every day you're going to see stuff on TikTok and Instagram starting next week. Facebook, I'm posting everything myself. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, I'm gonna post some of it, and then I'm gonna have people help me post some of it. But you gotta watch my videos, and you gotta tell me what you want to know. People that don't know me, you're probably gonna wonder, well, why the fuck do I want to listen to you? Well, just a little bit of history, a little bit of background. First off, since I was 15, I had my first business. I have bought and sold hundreds and hundreds of businesses. I currently own dozens of businesses. A lot of these businesses make millions of dollars a year, tens of millions of dollars a year. I've even had businesses that have made $100 million, and I have that money now. So I could definitely give you all kinds of tricks and tips. I started my first business again, my first big business when I was 15. And since I was 22 years old, I started buying properties. I'm 47 now, just to give you an idea. So for the last 25 years, I've been buying properties. I've been buying properties, owner finance, sub-2, cash, getting loans, everything since I was in my early 20s. I'm going to show you how to do all kinds of stuff that you want to do. And it's going to be in these videos. I'm going to show you how to do all this stuff. It doesn't cost anything to go on my YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything to watch these videos. And you're going to be able to not only be able to see all these different things I do, any questions that you have, I've probably done every single thing that you have a question about, and I'm going to show you how I did it, or I'm going to answer your questions. So you got to friend me on Facebook. And if you're friending me and we don't have any mutual friends, I don't know who you are, and your Facebook page, like it's weird where I don't think you're a real estate investor, I might not accept you. So message me, say, oh, I was on your Zoom. Please accept my Facebook friend request, and I will. Now, you're only allowed to have 5,000 friends. I'm always at 5,000. Every single day, I delete 50 friends that don't ever do anything, don't engage. If I have friends that don't engage in my posts, that don't like anything, I delete 50 friends every day, and I get 50 new friends every day, because I get so many friend requests for people that want to engage that I can't accept them because I have too many. So I'm always deleting people. I'm always adding. So if you see I'm at close to 2,000 or whatever, don't worry. Every day I'm deleting 20, 30 people, and I'm adding 20, 30 people. So the most important people I want to add right now are people that want to learn about business and want to learn about real estate, especially real estate. Real estate right now is what I'm focusing most of my time on. However, as real estate starts slowing down, and I'll give you my feedback of what I think of real estate now and in the future, I will start getting more into business. And business is, again, if you are in my office, you'd see like 100 different businesses that I've had. They're all over my wall. And I keep buying more, and I keep starting more. And a lot of these businesses I'm buying with like no money, none of my own money. The person that's selling it's getting their money. And I'm going to make videos to show you how I buy millions of dollars worth of businesses and make lots of money with no money, and how to get this money and how to come up with these creative ideas. Everything I do is creative. And even the videos I make, like my videos are going to be more unique than any other videos than anyone else makes. If people teach all kinds of stuff, my videos hopefully will be a little bit funny, have a little bit of humor in it, and will also teach you what you want to know. So that's a quick thing. Start following me every single week. I actually just partnered with Eddy. Me and Eddy are going to start doing 100%. We're going to do at least minimum one live event where we're going to have hundreds of people at least 100 plus people at, that we're going to teach stuff live every single month in Atlanta. Yep. We're going to have a live event at some big venue every single month that we're going to go through different real estate topics. Sometimes we're going to have special guests. We might have attorneys that will show you different things. We might have private money lenders. We might have people that are good at Airbnbs. Whatever it is, we're going to have people there, and then I'm always going to be there, and I'm going to speak about different things, and we're going to have people that are better than me at different topics that will speak about things, and that's going to be every single month. So you got to follow us on those, as well as Eddy twice a month does a walkthrough of a home that somebody just rehabbed or in the process of rehabbing that you could come to. All this stuff is going to be free to come to watch how we rehab and how we priced it and how we bought it and how much we spent and why and what we think we're going to get. So follow Eddy for sure. Follow me. I'm going to always post about it as well. So on this particular home, we already went through. Does somebody have like homes like outside of the city?
Yeah. So I got four. We'll do 4 more homes. We're just gonna have you go straight into your comping mode and just boom, boom, boom. Since everybody kind of understands how you do it now, we're just gonna be able to watch along with you. For everybody else, we'll post all the details and information for you guys. Just make sure you pay attention to the chat. I just post everything. You'll be able to find us there. The first address I just put it in the chat for you.
Okay, cool. I see a few. So I got 5372 Ridgemere Stone Mountain, but let's see. Let me put that in.
So while he's looking that up, we are working on doing some events on the south side. In fact, you can help out if you know some locations. You can tell the way we do our events, they're cool spots. So if you find somewhere cool, send me a message so we can check it out and be able to host it. Collaboration over competition, absolutely.
Hey, so this house is fucking awesome. Whoever sent me this house, this is good to comp for a few reasons. First of all, it's not a house. So I'll be able to show you how to comp stuff other than houses, which is good because I was hoping we could get to condos, townhomes, all kinds of other stuff. Townhomes and condos are the absolute easiest thing to comp. So these are super easy. So you should always, I buy more condos and townhomes than anybody else. I love condos and I love townhomes. They're just so easy to comp. They're so easy to rehab. They're so easy to sell. So this is, so as you saw, I put the address in. And as soon as I put the address in, I started scrolling down. Why did I scroll down? Well, because I saw it's a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath. I mean, it's almost impossible to find a house that's a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath. So on Zillow, you could scroll down and you could see, is it a house? Is it a condo? Is it a townhome? Well, here, it's a townhome. I pretty much knew as soon as I put it in, based on the square footage, bed bath count, that it was a townhome or a condo or something. So I scrolled down just to see, and I was right. It was a townhome. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at, so when you look at condos and townhomes, bedroom bath count is super important, way more important than a single family home. So remember I was telling you on a single family home, once you get to 3 beds and 3 baths, anything else is like a bonus. Well, it's not really the same on a condo or townhome. On a condo townhome, you got to really look at 4 bedrooms totally separately than you look at a 3 bedroom. You got to look at a 3 bath totally separately than you look at a 2 bath. On a condo or townhome, it's a lot bigger of a difference than on a house. But it's way easier to comp because in a condo or townhome situation, almost every single unit near there either is a 2 bedroom, a 3 bedroom, a 4 bedroom, a 1 bedroom, and there's so many similar homes and it's so easy to comp. So let's get to this one. This one here, 1986, and I don't even need to like put in the I don't even need to put in the square footage or year built on townhomes or condos for the most part. Once in a while you do, but for the most part, I don't even care. Because why? Let's click on this. So I see that 5372 Ridgemere Court is right here, right? This is it. This is the street. Well, I know that the only comps that matter are comps that are in this box. If it's not a house that's in this box, I don't even give a shit about it. Like it means 0, like nothing. Because every single house in this box is in the same exact townhome community. If you're comping a townhome or a condo, the only comps that matter are homes that are in the same exact condo or in the same exact townhome community. So because I know these are in the same townhome community, I know they're all going to be built within a similar year. And I know that there's probably going to be a 2 bedroom version. There's going to be a 3 bedroom version. And there's probably going to be maybe a 4 bedroom or a 1 bedroom version. But for sure, there's going to be a 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, and maybe others. So the one that he just gave me to comp is a 2 bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,200 square feet. Okay, so I'm basically going to look at stuff in that community that's a 2 bedroom, 2.5 bath, or 2 bedroom one. So if you go to the more and you don't type in anything, all these yellows come up. But a lot of these don't mean anything because they were very old. They were sold a long time ago. So I'm going to come in here, and the first thing I always do, the most important thing, is go to 6 months. So I'm going to type in 6 months. I hit done. It already took out almost all the yellows. So now there's only 3 homes that are important, right? And these. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 homes that are important. 6 townhomes. Besides those 6 townhomes, nothing else is important. Now, if those weren't enough, I would go and switch from 6 months to 12 months. And then I would see, okay, maybe 7, 8 months ago, something sold, and maybe it's a little bit relevant. Maybe stuff went up a little bit, so I'll be able to add, a little bit of money to it. But right now, let's just use stuff within 6 months. So I could hover over this one. This one is a 4 bedroom. Now, is this a 4 bedroom or is it? It's probably someone who sold this whole building, which is two bedrooms. So this for 266 might have been half. Might have been just half of it. It's a little bit confusing, but again, if you look on the MLS, it'll tell you exactly what was sold. But more than likely, what was sold was half of this. So they probably sold 2 bedrooms and 2 baths for 266. That would be my guess. I bet anybody I'm probably right. So that was for a 2 bedroom, even though it says 4 bedroom, because it only sold half. This one here. This one here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Unfortunately, on Zillow, it doesn't show the bedroom and bath, but it looks pretty similar. And again, this is probably for half. Most people that are selling these are selling only one side. That one sold for 300. Now look, this one sold for 300 like 3 weeks ago. This one sold for 266. Oh, this one sold for 266. How long ago? Also last month. So these are pretty good. 266, 300. This one sold for 249 2 months ago. And look, this one has pictures. It's awesome, right? So I can look at the pictures and I could tell that it's not like super updated, but it's livable. So this is a livable condition home, but it's not like super updated. They put new floors, they painted it, but the countertops and stuff were older. So that was 249. All right. Then those were those 3. I believe these 3 might be in the same neighborhood. Is this a house? This is a house. So this one won't even count because it's a house. These might be houses, so these don't even count.
So
Yeah, these
I wanna make sure we drive that home, guys. Always remember, it's apples to apples. That property is not a house, so you can't use a house as a comp if you're comparing it to a condo or a townhome. They're not the same. You're gonna get yourself in trouble thinking you got a deal when you're using the wrong properties to compare it to.
Yeah, big time. So these three are townhomes. So let's see where his home is. His home, 5372. We have to find it. Let's just see if it should highlight it. And this one, if these are correct pictures, this home, they either painted these cabinets and put new knobs on. I mean, the floors are still old, but this is a little bit nice. You know, this is somewhat nice. This is still laminate. It's not stone. So for the most part, if I am to buy and sell a condo or a townhome, there's such a little cabinet space that it's insane to me to not put granite here. Because I can put granite here for super cheap. It makes it just so much more valuable. There's such a small amount of countertop that it won't cost much. I'm not sure if these are new or they painted these black, but they definitely put new knobs on. And it looks new. The floor is old, but you know, this floor is newer-ish. It's not maybe brand new, but it's close enough. It's a newer type. This is old. I don't know if this is an old picture, this carpet here. But again, if I was to buy this, I would get someone to send me like pictures of what it looks like today. So yeah, so these cabinets look nice. You know, the floor is a little bit old, but it's tile, so it's decent. So this is like a home that is in good shape. So anyhow, I know that this is the 70. It's this one right here. Yeah, so this is the property right here. So this property that's highlighted is the property 232. So I could tell that it's basically a half. All these buildings look the same. Every single building looks the same. They're all 2-bedroom, 2.5 baths, just like this one. And I know that this one here has 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath on both sides. So there's a neighbor that's 2.5, and just like this building here. So as I suspected, this building, that building that he's looking at probably looks just like this building, but he's able to buy half of it. He's able to buy one side. So it's almost like a duplex. They call them duplexes, they call them townhomes, whatever, one half does and the other. This one says single family, but it's wrong. So you got to look, sometimes Zillow is not right. So sometimes you got to look at pictures, but look, if you look at the picture, you could tell this is not a single family home. You could tell this is a townhome or a duplex, whatever you want to call it, right? So this is a very similar one, and it's sold for $266. So I know that this home that he has right here is worth $266, $249, or $300. These are all identical homes. This is across the street. This is the same exact home. I don't need it to tell me the bedroom and bath because I know that every single one in the neighborhood is similar, just based on looking at every one. So I know this is similar. This one just sold for $300. What I don't know is how nice this one was. Did they put all new cabinets, all new flooring, all new whatever? More than likely, they probably did to get $300. So the reason why this one probably sold for $300, this one sold for $249, this one sold for $266, even though they all sold in the last month, this one was probably rehabbed way nicer and everything was new. This one was probably rehab nice, but not everything brand new. So you could tell that if I was to sell this property and I fixed it up nice enough to live in, it would go for somewhere between $250 to $266. But if I was to fix it up and make it really nice, again, I'm guessing because I don't see the pictures, it would sell for $300, even make it nicer. So how would I price this house? So what I would do is, I already know that that's what it's worth. I would go ahead and ask him to send me pictures of the house. And based on the pictures that I see here, this house is pretty much in the condition that this one and this one's already in. Like, it's probably pretty close. So I would just guess that as is condition, I could almost sell it for $250 because this one's over $250. I'd have to see if this house is about the same. To me, this house looks similar. It probably doesn't, there's probably parts of this house that's a little bit nicer, parts that are a little bit worse. So I would have to guess using my judgment. And again, I don't go out to houses. I use pictures, and I if somebody sends me something, I mean, I give them a price right away. So I'm doing what I would normally do. I'm just guessing, but I guess pretty accurately. So again, I would usually have pictures, but based on the pictures on here, I would say that these homes are pretty damn similar, this one and this one. So I know I could get 250 for this one. This one sold how long ago? This is the one that sold 2 months ago. The other one sold 1 month ago. So I would assume I could get 250 for it as is. So let's just say I didn't want to spend any money fixing it up. I would put it on the market, sell it for 250. How much do I need to make on this house? I need to make 10%. I need to make 25,000. So I'm at 250 minus 25,000. Now we're down to 225. My holding cost, probably about 10%. Now we're down another 25,000. Now we're down to 200,000. How much in repairs do I need to do? I mean, based on selling it for 250, probably not much at all. So again, 5,000. So if I had to guess, and this pictures were accurate, I would probably pay around 195,000 for this house, right? How did I come up with that? I came up with it because I think I could sell it for 250. I need to make 10%. My holding cost is gonna be 10%. And then my rehab's only 5,000. Now, again, once I see pictures, it could change. But based on that, that's what I think that house is worth. So I would assume as a wholesaler, you would want to lock this up for somewhere between 150 and 170. And you can make money on it. Again, I don't know what you locked it up, or if you're locking it up, or if you don't, or what you're selling it for. But again, I'm just guessing based on what I think it's worth. So if you want to tell us, do you have that house to sell? Are you trying to lock it up? What are the numbers? You can let us know, but that is how I would figure it. And again, when somebody sends me a house, I figure these things out in like 2 minutes, like literally in 2 minutes. I'm spending like a little bit more time because I'm explaining it. But like, if you were to send me this, I would know in 2 minutes that I could buy this house or not if you gave me a price and you gave me the pictures. So what do I need to buy a house? I need the address, the price that you want, and pictures. That's it. That's the only 3 things I need. You give me those 3 things, I'm going to be able to tell you like instantly if I could buy it or not. Now, if it's like super, super, super tight, which, then it might take me a little bit more time because I usually pass on the ones that are super tight because I'm getting so much stuff that I'd rather just buy the ones that I know aren't super tight. Like, why buy a super tight one if I could buy, plenty of deals that I'm getting from other people that aren't super tight. Now, if I'm not buying much deals and I'm bored for that day or for the week, then I might buy a super tight one, but I'd spend a little more time figuring out because, if it's super tight and I make a mistake, then I could, not make anything or lose money. But if it's not super tight, I'm okay, making a mistake because I have a little bit of room. So let's talk about this house. I gave you my feedback. You want to talk about why you gave me this house to comp and what the story is?
Yeah, so that house they're trying to sell it as a townhome. And it's both sides. They are going to get us pictures so we can get back to it. So once they get pictures, then we'll be able to dive a little bit deeper and figure out what that price is. But that's pretty spot on as far as what the price should be. Hey, real quick, if you guys are getting value, if you guys really appreciate Abraham, I just feel like I do this all day, but Abraham literally makes money and is still deciding to come out here and pour. Please show some love in the chat, take picture, put it out there so people understand that we really about helping each other and making money inside of the group. We're all in Atlanta. We're all doing business in Atlanta at some way, in some shape and form. We got to be able to do business. Abraham, I got another address for you. So here's what we're going to do. Todd.
Hey guys, just so you know, I have people that come by my office every single week. Like, we're going to have, me and Eddy are coming up with a program to where, first of all, I bought an office building. It's 3 stories. I have tons of space. I have tons of offices. I have conference rooms, and I have studios where we teach people stuff, right? And I always have people here that I'm teaching stuff to. So if something you're interested in learning, and literally there's almost nothing I can't teach you as far as business and real estate. Anything else, I probably can't teach you shit because I don't know much anything else. But if it has to do with real estate or business, I guarantee you I could teach you it better than anybody else in Atlanta. And I do that every single week here in my office. I have people come and I show them whatever they're struggling with. And I do deals with a lot of people. I buy, again, on my slowest months, I buy over 20 properties. On my busy months, I buy over 30 properties. I pay cash for them all. And, I'm selling that many properties every month too. I'm always a little bit behind. I'm always buying a little bit more than I'm selling. but you know, I'm trying to sell as many as I buy. You know, my average home, I'm making, you know, 35, 40,000 on, I'm doing 20 to 30 of them a month, and that's just on real estate. And I have tons of businesses. I do lots of, you know, loaning. I do all kinds of other stuff with properties. I have tons of rentals. I have Airbnbs. I have rooming homes. I have, you name it, I have it in real estate. That's what I'm telling you. If you need to know anything about real estate, we can do it. So if you're interested in learning more, also get with me and Eddy. We're teaming up, and we're just going to be teaching you guys how to do everything on Zooms, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat, and on, you know, everything, right? So MySpace, that's my favorite. If you're not on MySpace, you should get on there. And
don't go on MySpace. Don't.
All right, don't go on MySpace. But you can come here into my space at my office. So but let's move on to the next property.
All right, I just popped it in the chat for you. Todd, you're gonna be next. And while he's looking that up, I'm gonna go ahead and answer just a couple of quick questions. There was one question about, here it is, big question. Why are wholesalers keep going out of the subdivisions of the subject property so much if they have comps in the same subdivision or neighborhood? If appraisers will not use those comps outside, it's very simple answer.
They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing.
They don't. Well, actually, they do know what they're doing. They're trying to make sure that they can get comps that are going to support the high ass wholesale fee that they're trying to get. At the end of the day, if you're wholesaling, at the end of the day, if you're not trying to give crazy value to your cash buyer, you're shooting yourself in the foot anyway. Because, for example, if I did a deal with Abraham and it wasn't the best situation for Abraham, yeah, I might have made 30,000 on that one deal. But then guess what? Is Abraham going to buy more properties from me? No. Who would? That doesn't make much sense. In fact, I would rather be known as the person that gives Abraham a discount so that every time Abraham sees my phone number, he knows it's going to be a good deal and it's not a question. He's going to buy my deal before he'll buy anybody else's. So that's why they're doing that.
By the way, I like everything by email. Like, don't send me texts and messages. I don't usually look at them. If you send me a message or a text with properties, there's a good chance I won't see it for a day. If you send me an email, I guarantee you I'm going to get to it that day, or hopefully fast. So I have like 100 emails sent to me every day on different properties. I know right away like which wholesalers I'm going to definitely almost buy their stuff, and some that like I'm never going to buy their stuff, and some that and maybe I have a shot to buy their stuff. But it's, you know, there's 10, 12 people that I buy stuff every month from, and then there's people that sell me stuff every few months, and that's okay. And there's people that send me hundreds of deals I've never bought a deal from. I don't know how the fuck these people sell those deals, but they must. I don't know, they keep sending.
That's another topic for another Zoom for sure, and we'll definitely get to that because that is a really important topic.
I have answers, but yeah, we don't have time on this. So
real quick, let me go through some more real quick. Do you care if there's tenants that occupy the home? It depends on the buyer. I could tell you for both of us, we don't care. I know personally, I think Abraham just not kicked out, but he just had tenants leave a particular property they brought. That was like a 6-month stint. So it depends on the scenario. But if the question truly is, can we buy a property with tenants in place? The answer is yes.
I buy more properties with tenants in place than anybody else that exists. Like literally.
Abraham, give us an example, because that's one of the questions next, right? Give an example of a wholesale deal you just brought.
I buy 30% of the properties I buy. It's not 40% have tenants. I discount them, and there's like a tenant hassle fee. So depending on the situation, if it's a non-paying tenant, I'm usually going to deduct like up to $10,000 for buying it, because it's going to cost me a shit ton of money in holding fees and getting them out. I'm going to try to give them cash for keys. I'm going to have to evict them. I'm going to have to pay someone to help me, and then all that money is tied up for a while. So I'm definitely going to deduct money if there's tenants. If it's a non-paying tenant, I usually deduct, $10,000, sometimes less. If it's a paying tenant, sometimes I deduct $5,000. It depends on the situation. And it also depends on how expensive the house is. The more expensive the house, the more I'm going to deduct, because my holding fees are a lot higher. But 100%, I buy any property with tenants. I don't care. It doesn't matter. So it's just, all that's going to do is just affect the price I pay. I might pay more if it didn't have a tenant, but I still have no problem buying it with the tenant.
So another question, how do you determine if there's only as is comps, but the subject property is worse. Very simple answer. You still do the same comp and then you go lower than that property because your subject property is worse, right? So just, you're gonna go lower, right? I would go drastically lower. But also, if you really want to get a cheat code to that question, reach out to Abraham, reach out to myself and say, hey, look, this is the condition of the property. But I want you guys to notice something. Abraham probably said this maybe 22 times already. He looks at pictures. So if you got a property that's like you just said, like, hey, these are as is comps that I'm comparing it to, but the property is worse, go out there and get the pictures. Go to Walmart, get yourself some boots that you don't care how they end up looking, protect your feet. Only Abraham is the only person I know that will go walk a property in sandals. I do not recommend that for anybody. Abraham does Brazilian jiu-jitsu. The dude is legit. Well, that's that. We're gonna leave that alone. Protect yourself. Go into these houses. Get the pictures that you need. So when you send it to buyers like ourselves, we'll tell you exactly, hey, look, if you get it at this price, I can buy it. And then it's simple. You get it at whatever price under what you want to make for your wholesale. So Abraham tells you, hey, I'll buy that at 100K all day. Okay, cool. Now you go negotiate starting at, I don't know, 80 if you want to make 20K. The closer you get to 100 is going to be based off of what your assignment fee is going to be for yourself. Hope that makes sense.
One thing I want to talk about too, that since you brought it up, assignment fees, double close, all that stuff. I don't give a fuck how much money you make on a property. I don't care if you made $1,000. I don't care if you made $2 million. I just don't care. All I care about is how much I want to pay and how much I need to pay. If you locked it up and you got a great deal on it, God bless you. Make as much money as you want. I actually love it when people make a lot of money, because if you could sell me properties and make a lot of money, guess what's going to happen? You're going to keep giving me more properties because you do good on the properties that you sell me. Yep. So I'm all for you making a lot of money, but you got to get them at a good price. Now, if you didn't get it at a good price, you know, it's going to be hard to make much money. But again, you know, you're going to get some good deals, some bad deals. But as far as how much money you make, I don't care. You could assign anything to me and the assignment fee could be on there. You could double close. I just don't care. I don't even look at your money. It's not important to me. It's not my money. So again, what's important to me is I base it on how much I think I could make on it, not how much you're making on it. Again, I just don't care. So you sent me an interesting property just now. You sent me this 3940 Magnolia Trail in Douglasville. Why is that interesting? That's interesting because that house has been blasted to me by dozens of people already. So let's see. I'm still on a screen share, right? You see the Zillow?
Yeah, you're good.
You can see this when I'm moving here.
I can't see your mouse. No, you guys come back over. Now I see you. You're in your email, I think. So
I just made a copy of the last 10 emails I got. Look at this. These people sent me this property. Same property you just told me to comp, 3940. And actually, I got a lot more emails. So I don't even know if any of these people are on this email or not, but on the Zoom call. But look, everyone sent me this property. I've got this property sent to me for 230,000, 236,000, 240,000, 296,000, 240,000, everywhere, 230,000 right here, Khalil. So I've had this property sent to me, even more than this. I just wanted to show you that I've had it sent to me a lot of times. So let me get rid of that.
Must be a really good deal.
Well, the problem with this property is it's way too high, obviously, because nobody wants it. It's been sent around by a million people. So, and everybody keeps adding money to it. So, Jamil's been teaching everybody how to astro flip. So basically, I'm in astro. Actually, but
yeah, I'm in astro flipping too. But listen, yeah, let's make that distinction real quick, right? There's nothing wrong. Some people call it daisy chaining. They call it microtransaction. There's absolutely nothing wrong with any of that part of the game.
As long as you have permission.
You need permission, 1, and 2, guys, come on. It doesn't make sense to keep adding on more you're gonna blow again, at the end of the day, what value am I giving to the end buyer, right? So if you gotta be willing to say, you know what, I'm only gonna make 3,000 on this, and I'm not gonna put 30,000 on it before I send it over to Abraham. Or
very too high to begin with.
Or you might be able to say, you know what, let me just pass this on and I won't make no money. Guys, you can't be like abundance is a mindset you have to have.
Let me stop you there. I never want to buy a deal from someone where they're not making money. I feel bad. Like,
No,
even
no,
if-
not them making money. I'm saying like if the deal is already tight, work out a Chick-fil-A coupon or something. Like, don't be trying to throw on more money. It's not, the deal is tight. There's no room for you to make money, but you can make money on the next. You know how many people I sent to Abraham to go get money with him because I knew it was gonna be too tight, but they came back afterwards and we still made money. I don't have to make money on this particular deal because I'm being legit, just stingy and greedy. That's really the only other reason why you do it.
well, because they don't know what they're doing. So a lot of people just don't know what they're doing. They just have no clue. But again, we're going to be teaching people how to know what they're doing on every aspect of real estate. So over the next every single month, you're just going to learn more and more if you follow us. But
Gonna get better and better.
so
So
Magnolia.
what should we be buying this one at?
let's look. I didn't even look. So here's the thing. I've got this sent to me so many times. The first time it was sent to me was probably the person that actually used direct to seller. And they sent it to me at whatever it was, in the low 200s, right? And I looked at it and I was like, well, I can't pay that. And then there's too much. And then I've had 20 people send it to me since then at a higher price. So there's no reason to look at it because I know it's higher than the first one. And it was too much. Some people are asking, there's one person here asking $296,000 for this fucking house. Like, the house isn't even worth that much if it's fixed up. Like, what the hell? And his house needs a lot of work. So anyway, let's look at this house now and see how crazy these people are. Now, just so you know, just because I think something is worth something and I, will buy it for a certain price, doesn't necessarily mean that you can't find someone that either A, doesn't know what they're doing, that will fuck up and pay too much and not know how to comp. B, someone that really, really likes that particular area and wants to buy it so they could pay a lot more than a fix and flipper, right? If they want it as an Airbnb, or if they want it as a home they want to move into, or a family wants to move into, or something, it's hard to compete with that because they could pay almost full price. So, luckily you could find some of those people. And then there's some hedge funds that pay very, very high. And by the way, one trick that I do that I didn't tell anyone yet, when I price out, when I comp properties or figure out what I could pay, because a lot of times I will give you my formula, like I'm showing you how I buy all this stuff. And that's really what I could pay as a fix and flip. Just because that's the highest I could pay as a fix and flip doesn't necessarily mean that's the highest I could pay. Sometimes I could sell this home to somebody that wants to just keep it as a rental, or I might know somebody that wants to move in it and I could pay a lot more because of that. But again, I never default to that price. I always want to buy it as worst case scenario as a fix and flip. And then if it doesn't work as a fix and flip because the price is too high, then I'll try to see if I could find someone that could pay more than it's worth. And a lot of times, a good part of the time, I do find people that could pay more than it's worth as a fix and flip. But I don't want to bank on it, unless I could find that person. So my trick is to find people that are buy and hold investors that will pay stupid money more than it's worth, and have them price out some of the homes that you lock up and see what they'll give you. And they might pay a lot more than it's really worth to a fix and flipper because they don't. Why can they pay more? Well, first off, they don't have any holding costs because they're not trying to hold it for 4 months to sell it. So you instantly get rid of a big percentage right there. Second, they don't have closing costs twice because they only have closing costs the first time. They don't have realtor fees because they're not selling it. So, I mean, they actually could pay an extra 15% than someone that's fixing and flipping it because they don't have all these extra costs. They still need to have some sort of equity and have some sort of value in it, but they could pay a lot more. So the key is what I was saying is, if you have someone that is that buy and hold type investor, get a price from them, and then that you can get crazy money for it, then you can pay a little bit more if you have to. But again, almost every house that I buy, I run it through. I probably have like 10 or 12 people that I sell to that actually buy homes just to keep them as rentals. And I run all these homes by these people and see what they'll pay. And I don't even fix and flip half of them because they'll pay more than they're worth as a fix and flip. So I just sell it to them. And we'll get into my whole real estate strategy in other videos. But if I'm buying 30 properties a month, and I probably fix and flip maybe like 20% of them, like all the way, make them really nice. And then I probably fix and flip another 40% just to get them to nice rental condition. That's 60% right there. And then I do like another 10% of them, just enough to where I get rid of all the scary stuff, right? I get rid of the foundation issues, I fix them. I fix the rotten wood, I fix the mold, I get rid of all that stuff, and I sell those to other people that want to finish the rehab. And then that leaves the other 10%. The other 10%, I basically just sell them as is. I don't do anything. I just sell them to another investor that wants to mess with the area. Again, I don't do a ton of rehabs in South Fulton. So in South Fulton, most of the homes I buy, I don't rehab all the way, especially. Sometimes I'll rehab them a little bit, but I definitely don't rehab them all the way most of the time. And I just sell them to other people that I know that like those areas. So I have different strategies based on the house. And then there's strategies on different homes that I like to keep. I keep about a couple properties every month that I keep long-term. Again, I have over 150 properties that I've had for over 20 some years. And I add a couple to it every single month. And there's a reason and strategy for that. That's a whole nother Zoom. So let's talk about this one because it's been fucking like sent around a million times. So let's look at this one. So we're gonna click on it. This home is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath. It's 1,772 square feet. What year was it built? It was built in 1986. So it's a relatively newer type home compared to what I normally see. That's about a little bit better than average. It's 3-bedroom, it's over 3-bedroom and 2-bath, which is great. So it's a desirable house to some degree. Again, we don't have the pictures of it here, but luckily I've been sent this home 100 times, so I have pictures I can show you. But let's look at what it's worth. So first off, his estimate's 279. I don't know if that's accurate or not, it doesn't matter, but that gives me an idea of about what it maybe could be worth. So I know if someone's sending me this house for a price that is not, it won't make sense for me to keep it, rehab it, and sell it for 280 or close, it's probably gonna be too high. So the person that sent it to me for 296, obviously, and it needs work, it doesn't make any sense. Now, the lowest I think someone sent this to me for was like 220 or 230, something like that. But it still didn't make sense, but we're gonna go through what it really does make sense buying this at. So 1,700 square feet, 1986, right? So let's go to here. First thing we're gonna do is make sure 6 months. Next thing we're gonna do is go up to 2,000 square feet. And the next thing we're going to do is 1986. So let's just go up to 10 years just for the hell of it, right? 1995. All right. So now let's see what comes up. These are all the houses that came up that are similar to some degree. I don't even see a home here that has sold for $280,000. So I don't even know. The problem with this home, and the reason why this home didn't sell to anybody yet, it's been sent around to everyone, because there's no good comps. If there's no good comps, right? And a comp is a comparable. If there's no good comparable homes, how could somebody buy this home, put it on the market, and expect to get more than what all these homes sold for? It's impossible, right? There's not. No one's going to buy that home for cash for more than this money, because they're stupid. They wouldn't be that stupid, and no one's going to loan more than this on it, because every single person is going to get an appraisal, and they're going to see that this is what the home sells for. So no one's going to loan money on it. No one's going to use their own cash to buy it, move into. So this is what you're kind of stuck with. So let's look at these homes. This one here sold for $205. Somebody fixed it up afterwards and renting it. But they bought it for $205. This is right at the 6-month mark. And so in the last 6 months, properties have gone up. So it's probably worth more. The problem is they have pictures here of what it looks like today. I don't know what it looked like when they bought it for $205. They made this house nicer. They fixed it up after they bought it. So I'd have to figure out what it looked like before. But let's look at another home. There's a bunch of homes here. This one sold for $250. This is the same square footage, it's a very similar home. This one sold 3.5 months ago for $250. These comps, these comps are good comps. This sold for $250. It was built within 2 years. I think the other one was 1986. This one's 1988. So this is like, you can't get a better comp. The only problem with this comp is that it's 3 months old. Besides that, it's great, 3.5 months. Stuff might have gone up a little bit, but this is a good comp. $250. That's a great comp. Here's another one. This one sold 2 months ago. It's a little bit bigger, but look, it sold for $239. So again, we're looking at the same pricing. We're looking at $250. We're looking at $240. Here's a $227. It looks pretty similar. I could, it's hard to tell it's small, but it looks really similar. It sold it sold a month and a half ago for 227. So I'm thinking this house wasn't like, obviously super nice, but it was probably livable. They probably didn't spend money maybe painting it or something or whatever. Maybe if they painted it, put new flooring, it would have gone for 250, So I could tell that making this home nice enough to where it's like painted and flooring is probably worth 250, right? Hopefully everyone can see that. Here's one that sold for 260. This is the most expensive one. This one's painted on the outside. They might have made it a little bit nicer. It's, it's a little bit bigger. It sold for 260, but these are all homes that sold in that neighborhood. So anyone that has common sense and doesn't want to lose money is going to assume that they're going to be able to fix it up to where it's livable, maybe put new flooring and paint and get rid of any bad, anything that's really bad in the house and be able to sell it for 250. Well, if I was to sell this house for 250, how much do I need to make? I need to make 10%. So now we're down to 225. How much do I need to take off for holding costs and for realtor fees? Another 10%. Now we're down to 200,000. How much do I need to spend rehabbing this house? I don't know because I don't have the pictures in front of me, but here, let me open up the pictures. Let's see. I could pull up pictures. Hold on. I have so many people that sent me this house, so I could pull up the pictures. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna put the pictures on this computer. You guys see the Dropbox? You see it, Eddie? Eddie, you gone?
No, sorry, I was muted. I was giving you a thumbs up. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not looking. I'm just listening. All right, so here's a Dropbox. So by the way, here's a trick on Dropbox that I use. So this is what it looks like when I click on the link, right? Most people will click on this and then go one house at a time. Man, that takes forever. Sometimes people have shit tons of pictures. Look how many pictures. So what I do is I go here, a little trick, and I can look at a whole bunch of pictures at one time. You could set it however you want, but let's just look at 4 at a time. 4 at a time, they're big enough to where I can see them. So you see what I did? I just clicked on large grid. You could click on a smaller grid. I can make it every picture at one time, but it's smaller. I don't know if any of you guys know that, but whoever doesn't, that looks at properties, it saves a lot of time. It saves me a lot of time because I look at 100 properties a day. So I always do the large grid because they're big enough. And if I need to like zoom in, then I'll just click on it and I can look at it even closer. So this particular house I'm looking at, I mean, nothing, no red flags right here. It's average, 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 nothing great, nothing bad. Again, nothing great, nothing bad. It's outdated, but again, it's all usable. It's got stainless steel appliances. Again, it's outdated, but livable. So they had pets. By the way, anytime I see pets, I know there's going to be a lot more damage. And the house might smell, so I might have to do different things. But on this particular one, I could already see there's damage here. So there's probably a lot more damage from the dogs scratching on other stuff. I can see there's like some leak here or something. So I don't know if it needs a new roof or it needed a new roof or there's a plumbing leak somewhere or if there's mold somewhere. But I look at that. Here, everything looks normal. Here, everything looks normal. But like people don't like this paint. I might have to repaint this house or definitely paint some rooms. Again, this is a weird color. Some people might like it, some people might. The flooring here is newer-ish. This one has wallpaper. Probably have to take the wallpaper off and paint it to sell it. Oh man, this is a big red flag. This is a cat. Cats are the worst. Cats destroy houses more than any other animal. Dogs you get away with. Cats, man, they pee like it costs a lot of money to fix that stuff, and they just make the house smell really bad. You have to do less stuff. They pee on the walls sometimes. They really destroy houses. So again, people that have good cats, they're good, but most of the types of houses we buy, the cats aren't so good. So they have cats and dogs. Again, this is in the bathroom. We're gonna have to paint this. They're missing paint around the toilet, so it looks shitty, even if the paint was good. So you repaint this. So I'm looking, it definitely needs a repaint job. There's definitely, see, this is all dirty. I know that this room's gonna have to be painted. I can see like things around the wall here need to be painted. This room needs to be painted. This is all full of dog black. I'm gonna have to paint the trim in the house. This is dog scratching by where they shit and stuff and eat. So I know I have to paint that. So I know this house is gonna need a painting. And probably flooring too, because most of this house is carpet. And here, painting is missing. Some of this flooring I can keep, but a lot of it's carpet, and the carpet almost for sure has to be taken out 100% because it has dogs and cats. But look, they have a whole lot of flooring here. Maybe they have extra flooring, so maybe they'll leave it. I don't know. Gotta figure that out. But on this particular home, I would probably, and here, the outside of the home probably needs to be pressure washed. Again, I don't know how the roof looks. I don't know how the HVAC looks. I'm assuming the HVAC is fine because there's no wall units. Anytime you see wall units, you know it needs a new HVAC. This one doesn't, so it probably is okay. So that's this house. It, if I had to guess, and again, I'm looking just based on these pictures. These pictures are pretty good. I could figure it out pretty much on this. I definitely need to paint the house and put new flooring in, and I'm gonna have to fix some stuff that the pet's damaged. I would probably need to spend around 25 grand on this house to make it rent ready, or to make it good enough to where the other homes that sold for 250 would sell. This home, to get this home to sell for 250, I would need to put 25,000 in this home. I might need to put a little bit more because it has pets, and maybe 30,000. But I am pretty confident that I could make this house sell for 250, just like all the highest houses in the neighborhood, by putting in around 25 to maybe 30,000. If it didn't have pets, I could probably do it for less, because I know pets are going to damage a few things that we didn't look at, like the decks and all kinds of stuff that I probably have to do some stuff with. But again, we'll do other Zooms of how I came up with that and how I know that's what's going to cost. And again, I'm pretty darn accurate. If I look at 100 homes, 90 of the 100 homes, I'm going to be almost dead on within 10%. So, so let's go back to comping this one. 25,000 and needs some work to make it sell for 250. Okay, let's get rid of this. So the house is going to sell for 250. I'm taking 25 off for profit. I'm taking 25 off for holding and everything else. I'm taking another 25 off for rehab. So we're at 175 on this house. So that's where we're at, 175. Everybody that sent it out sent it for 220 plus, and that's why it's been sent out for weeks and no one's bought it, because it's not worth that much.
So let me chime in real quick, right? So this is why I've been telling you, listen, when I do cash buyer Fridays, this is why I do it. Somebody told me a long time ago, find yourself an investor and go meet with them every week. Cash buyer Fridays came from me just meeting with a cash buyer investor, and then other people saw what I was doing. Now it's a big thing. It's because of what Abraham just broke down. If you don't understand what Abraham's going to have to spend as an investor, truth be told, a lot of us here are not really investors yet. You're wholesalers. You're not thinking or doing anything with the property other than moving paper, which is perfectly fine. But you have to understand, how does an investor look at this? Instead, actually call yourself an investor. You should start feeling offended when people say, oh, you're a wholesaler. Let them know, no, wholesaler is a exit strategy that I use. I'm an investor, because you got to be able to look at the property, look at pictures, and be able to say to yourself, okay, how much would I be able to, and you don't have to be accurate, right? But
You see
what, no, I think you had, I'll let you share again. I think you just.
No, I unshared because I didn't know how
Okay.
much longer you want to go, but I was going to talk a little bit about.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
I could do more. I could do more properties, but first of all, I didn't know how many people are still left. It's been fucking 2.5 hours.
No, we got like 65 people in here, 64 people. But no, we are going to close down. But again, I want to make sure that people
2.5
know
hours. Shit.
that
That's
people
crazy.
know, like, you have to figure out, okay, what is the cost like, so that when you send a deal over, it makes sense. The first person that sent the deal over to Abraham, it was already too much, right? But now here's the thing. If you're the person that had this deal, I forgot exactly who it was. You're the person that, let's say you are the new person that has this deal, you need to either go talk to the wholesaler, or you got to have a real conversation with the seller and say, this is how much I'm going to end up spending on your property. I need your property at this price point in order for it to make sense. If they on par, then cool. If they not, call one of these individuals in here that can do creative financing, then maybe they can work that out. But also, guys, it's okay to tell it's okay to tell a seller no and walk away if they're not willing to buy at the price that it needs to be brought at.
Don't be afraid. Oh, I finally got a seller to pick up the phone. Now y'all too hyped. They be like, I want 300 grand. No problem. Now you go try to sell to us for 350 because you want to make a $50,000 spread because you've been spending money on all these damn things you subscribe to. Like, come on, we gotta do
Hey,
better.
so I see a lot of people asking questions, like they want me to answer different questions before I leave, which is cool. I got time, but we'll answer different questions. I see some really good ones, and again, I'm gonna start having people come to my office, and we're gonna have some little groups here and there that we go through any type of question, and we're gonna answer them all right here in front of you, and so basically, the reason why it was so good for everyone to hear the way I comp is because I actually use my own money. I put my money where my mouth is. There's so many people are like, oh, this is worth this is worth this. I'm like, okay, great, we'll fucking buy it. And guess what? They never fucking buy it. You know why? Because they're not using their money, they're just talking shit. I actually will do whatever the fuck I say I'm gonna do. So you wanna learn to comp from someone that's actually buying stuff and actually using their own money and actually gonna close. Like I've never locked up a deal and didn't close on it. I've closed on every single deal. I've closed as fast as title is ready. I never want to wait to close. I want to close on everything the day I lock it up. Like the money's in the account. The money's not an issue. I was just waiting for title. But I see so many people that teach you how to comp, and I'm like, they're fucking idiots. Like they don't know what they're doing, and they won't buy the house. I'm like, all right, well then buy that house. I will buy it. If I tell you what it's worth, that's what it's worth. So, but yeah, this is comping. So let's go through some of these questions here.
So you got a question about the market. Before you leave, can you talk about the market? What do you see? What are you seeing, and what's your approach?
Yeah. So again, there's some things I know for sure, and I can tell you 100% this is what's going to happen. Obviously, you're asking me about my opinion on the market. It's an opinion. I could be right. I could be wrong. Right. But I mean, I'm happy to tell you my opinion. So my opinion is that the market will still be good for a little while. However, I do think prices will. So over the last 2 years, every single month, houses were worth more. Like if I bought it for 100,000, it was worth 105, 110, 120. Like every single time I couldn't get to a rehab and I had to rehab it and it took me 6-10 months later. Yeah, I lost money on the holding cost potentially, but I actually made so much more because the house went up, it just went up crazy in value. So I haven't lost, out of every home that I bought in the last 2 years, I have not lost money on one single home. And did I make some mistakes on some homes? Yes, I did overpay and make a few mistakes on some homes. But you know what happened to those homes? I couldn't sell them. I couldn't sell them for what I wanted. But 3 months later, the market went up, I was able to fucking sell it. 6 months later, I was able to sell it. So the houses I got stuck on, that I made mistakes on, the market always corrected and kept going up, and I was able to sell it. So I don't think that's going to happen anymore. If I make a mistake now, I don't think the market's going to keep going up to where I'm going to be able to bail out of my mistakes by the market going up. So that is one thing. I don't think the market's going to necessarily like tank or drop like really soon or really fast. I do think the market eventually will go down. But there are still so many institutional buyers and so many people that want to buy homes, and there's still like not a lot of homes on the market. Now, if you're reading all the ads and everything, you'll see interest rates going up. It's a lot more expensive to buy a home. A lot less people are trying to get loans. A lot less people are buying, and homes are on the market longer. That's all true. But keep in mind, you're comparing stuff like as soon as a house was on the market over the last 2 years, it would sell and have 1 million offers. Now all of a sudden, it's on the market for a month, 2 months, 3 months. Hell, 5 years ago, that would have been incredible. So we're getting to a point where it's still incredible from like 5, 6 years ago, but it's just not as good as it was last year. So every single month and over the next year, it's probably going to get worse and worse every single month, I think. However, I still think it's going to be good for a long time. And no matter how bad it gets, you guys can make a ton of money on this market. When I made most of my money? I made most of my money when the market tanked. I made more money when the market was bad than when it was good. Now, my strategy was 100% different. I definitely didn't buy stuff to fix and flip. I never bought stuff to fix and flip when the market was bad. But I did other stuff, And again, I'm going to make videos. Again, if you follow me on Facebook, I'm going to have a video every fucking day for the rest of the time. Like you're never going to see a day where I don't have a video. So if you follow me, if you're friends with me on Facebook, you're going to see them. If you're not, then I don't know, I guess get on Facebook if you're not on Facebook. But you definitely could go on YouTube. I'm going to have YouTube channels and everything else. There's going to be videos on YouTube every day as well. So you'll be able to see them. But I'm going to talk about my real estate strategies of what I do when the market's good, when the market's hot as fuck, when the market tanks. I have different strategies, and I'm gonna make videos of what I do in each thing. You're gonna have to adapt when the market changes. And there's lots of ways to make a ton of money when the market goes down, and there's lots of ways to make it when it goes up, and there's lots of ways to make money right now when it's probably stabilizing for now. And at any point it could tank. At any point it could go back up, or it could stay the same. And it doesn't matter because there's ways to make money in any of those markets. And again, we're for another day, we're going to talk about it. And a lot of it is going to be creative financing. A lot of it's going to be still buying stuff for cash or getting loans or whatever, and doing different things with the properties. When the market's really bad, you're not going to fix and flip because there's no buyers. But again, if you listened to me earlier, I said there's at least a dozen different strategies I use for every property I have. Some I fix and flip, some I rent, some I lease purchase. Some I owner finance to people. Some I turn into group homes. Some I turn into duplexes. But there's a whole bunch. That's just part of it. I have a lot more, and I'll make videos on all these different things I do, and I'll even show you different homes that I have done it with, and how much they make, and how much And a lot of these homes I paid cash for. I didn't have to. If I didn't have money, I could have borrowed it. A lot of them I bought on owner finance. A lot of them I bought subject to, with keeping the other person's loan in place and maybe borrowing a little bit of money or using a little bit of money. So
right there.
I just bought a apartment subject to from Eddy, right? I bought an apartment, I don't know, been months now, but I bought an apartment, and I bought it. I didn't have to pay cash for it. I got seller finance for 30%, and then I got the person already had a loan on it. I just kept the loan in place. I'm just paying the loan, and I'm paying the seller finance. And I had to come up with a little bit of money, but that's easy. Either you can use your own money, or there's a million people that would lend you money if you got a good deal. By the way, anyone that ever needs money for a good deal, that's a terrible excuse to not buy a good deal because you don't have money. If you have a good deal, you're going to have investors begging you to buy it, begging you to loan money on it if it's a good deal. If it's not a good deal, yeah, you might not be able to come up with the money. Like if you have a property that you're trying to buy and you don't want to use your own money, and it's not a good deal, no one's going to lend you the money on it. If it's a good deal, people will flock to you to give you money. I'm one of them. So again, if you get a good deal, you're going to be able to sell it. So that's my take on the market, and I'm going to talk about the different strategies on another video. And again, we're going to have a monthly meeting starting the last week of this month. Probably it's going to be the first one that we're going to kick off, where it's going to be consistently every single month. We've done them in the past, right? There's been Eddy's event, and I've talked at some of them. He's had other awesome speakers at some, and but they weren't always every month. They're supposed to be, but now they're going to be every single month. Once we do the next one, I'm doing this with him now, and because I'm doing it with him, we're going to stand on each other's ass, and we're going to make sure that these are consistent and they're happening every single month. So just look, just follow Eddy.
So look, I posted all the stuff in the chat one more time for everybody. First of all, I want to give a shout out to everybody who's still on board. We 60 some odd people strong. We've been running for like 2 and some change hours, right? So obviously every Zoom call is not going to be this long, but we wanted to give as much game as we can possibly give in that time frame. We will be having, like Abraham was just saying, we're going to be having this more consistent. The best way to be able to follow on what's going on is to follow Atlanta Joint Venture on Facebook and Instagram, follow myself, and follow Abraham. If you need to communicate or you want to get most of his stuff quickly, you want to follow him on Facebook. He's quick with that.
YouTube's going to be the best way to follow me soon. But right now, Facebook. But
Facebook's
within the next month or so, YouTube.
For sure. And also, I mean, his other stuff will be coming out on TikTok and IG. But again, that's where you want to be able to get the details so you can stay up on it. We'll be having Cash Buyer Fridays coming up within the next 2 weeks. We're going to have our end of the month event that he was just talking about. And then I want to bring up, he talked about specialized events where we'll have guests. The first couple of events that we're going to go over, we already have it in the books. It's going to be going over pre-foreclosures. It's going to be going over probate. and we're gonna have another one that's going over Airbnb, both luxury Airbnb and your regular basis. So we're bringing in specialists for those events. It's gonna be fire. And again, the whole reason why we're doing this is because we want to make sure Atlanta is the best of the best. And the way that we gotta be able to make sure that no one can talk bad about how we do business in Atlanta is by educating. If we all know how to do the right things properly, we'll make more money faster, and we'll continue to grow our industry the way that we need to. So real quick, somebody just asked one last question about where they can get the recording. If you follow Atlanta Joint Venture on Facebook, once this is done, the recording will be uploaded to there. We'll always have it go there, but we'll also have the Facebook page where you'll be able to see this on, not Facebook, on the YouTube channel as well. So you'll be able to see it on both channels.
Here's a few other questions. Will this be virtual or only in person? So the monthly events are going to be in person. The cash buyer walkthroughs are going to be in person.
In person, yeah.
But the Zooms will be virtual.
Yeah.
And Eddy has a weekly Zoom every single Wednesday. That's virtual. Every single Wednesday, Eddy does a Zoom and has different guests and talks about all kinds of stuff. I'm usually not on those because it's like when I'm in the gym working out, but I'll be on some, and we're gonna have special ones. But every week, if you guys are on his Zooms, man, he goes through incredible stuff. And somebody just asked, where is my office? So my office is technically in East Cobb, but it's right there on the border of Sandy Springs and East Cobb. So if you're on like Roswell Road 285 or in East Cobb, I'm like right there. But yeah, so if I'm right in the center of Atlanta. So 285 Roswell Road or 285 Riverside Drive. My office is right off those exits, and easy to get here. And I have a lot of space. I got studios, and we're gonna go through tons of stuff live with people every single week.
We'll actually be having some of these special events, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, at the office too, which is just going to be for selected individuals. So that's going to be dope too. Y'all get to see behind the scenes and everything like that. So that'd be good.
We're going to have events all over in places that will hold, plenty of people. I have a few entertainment concepts. I have an axe throwing location. We do a lot of events at. I have a putt-putt, indoor putt-putt place that we're building out right now.
Oh, that's going to be fire. That one's going to be crazy.
That will hold hundreds of people.
Yeah, yeah.
It has restaurant, bar, everything in there. But yeah, so we have plenty of places. And then, we go to all different types of other places that could hold events. So they're all going to be fun places.
So if you got a location you think would be cool, you think we would like it, definitely hit me up or send a message to, don't send to Abraham, he won't look at it. Hit me up. We'll definitely get a chance to go take a look and see if it fits us. As you can tell, Atlanta Joint Venture, there's a lot of real estate meetings, a lot of real estate groups that's out there. They're all good. We just not them, right? So definitely stay connected. Abraham, have you got anything else you want to say to people before we dip?
And I don't know if I mentioned it before, but if you're not friends with me on Facebook, you're an idiot.
I thought you said MySpace. You wanted them to hit you up on MySpace.
I like MySpace, but you said don't use it. So
okay. I mean, I want to shoot down your bubble. I know you really like MySpace.
Yeah, and then every single deal, email me. I do look at everything in emails. If you text me or message me, and it's a deal, it's probably not going to get looked at really fast. But if you email me,
but do yourself a favor, please get him pictures. I'm telling you from experience. You send him pictures in that email. Go ahead. What's the three things?
I need three things: the address, the price, and pictures. That's it.
That's it. And also, if you guys need help with comping deals any other time, or talking to your sellers, you can email me as well. I'll put that in there. If you need help with like EMD or transactional funding, I'll help with that. If you need proof of funds letter or private money or anything to do with money, you can email Abraham and help you out with that. Guys and girls, we're here.
If anyone here doesn't live in Atlanta and you guys do virtual wholesaling, I have 2 people in my office full time. All they do is go look at properties for me. If you need someone to go look at properties for you, I could just have you pay them to go look at properties and take pictures, videos, and they know how to do the best pictures and videos because that's what they do all fucking day, every day. So if you need somebody, just reach out to me. I got someone that I could go to any property, for sure within an hour of Atlanta. But if you want to go further, at the right price, we'll go wherever.
Yo, I didn't even tell you while we was on here, your guy just sent me back the pictures. It was amazing. It took like 100-something pictures. We'll end up getting it locked up. I'll send it over to you.
Yeah, so Eddy sent me a deal earlier today. It's expensive. It's a $500,000 plus deal. It's Sandy Springs. And boom, somebody went and took pictures right away. You know, that's
Yep.
what I have. I have someone sit in my office literally every day just to help me out with getting pictures in case I need them for me or for other stuff. A lot of the stuff they do is stuff I already bought just so I know how to rehab it, but a lot of it's homes I didn't buy yet. But again, 85% of the homes I buy, no one even goes to take pictures. I use the pictures you guys send me, but on some of them, so I have this guy here extra time to go do it for other people if needed.
Now, mind you guys, the deal that he was just talking about, that was a deal that's on market. So we do have on market. I mean, we have a brokerage as well. We have a title company that we're working on coming out with soon. But I can show, if you have a deal you need help with, I can show you how to be able to negotiate, even if there's an agent involved. But you got to know how to do it, and we could talk about. We'll actually do a Zoom on that too, so that you guys can be educated on.
And so first of all, I hate on-market properties. I buy some, but it's like literally like, if I buy 100 properties, one of them or two of them are on market. So on-market properties, I'm not crazy about. I do buy them, but we can make a whole Zoom video on that of how I'll buy them, why, how I price them differently. But I just got a message. I'm in Charlotte. I'd love for someone to take pictures. Who do I contact? Contact me, and I'll get somebody to do it for you. I have somebody in my office that sit here every day. Half the time they don't even do anything. They just hang out and we just talk and chill. But the times that I need them to go, it's important. So I just pay someone to be here all the time, no matter what, just so I have somebody, because that one time I need somebody, it could be worth thousands and thousands of dollars. So I don't care if I pay someone to sit here 5 days a week to do nothing. If the 1 or 2 times they do something, I can make crazy amounts of money. So I have somebody here all the time, usually 2 people. One person is usually in the field. One person sometimes is in the field, but usually here. And they go look at properties for me whenever I need. And I have extra time for them to go to look at you if you're virtual out of Atlanta.
All right, perfect. And I put one more time the link in there. That's all, folks. We gone. Peace, love, happiness. Stay charged up. Reach out to us if you need anything.
Hey, one person asked you about the Wednesday Zooms. What time are they? What do you do? How do you?
I answered them already. I told them to check the link.
All right, perfect.
Wait, do you need someone to look at the properties south of the city? Don, we possibly could reach out to Abraham send him an email, and he'll be able to communicate with you.
I have 2 people that look full time for me at properties. One actually lives east, and one person lives south, but they go everywhere. It doesn't matter. They're in my office, which is central, so I could. I very rarely need someone to go look at properties because I have people dedicated to that. But if somebody else needs people, looks like Don will definitely help people on the south side. But if anybody needs any property looked at in like an hour drive from Atlanta, I always have people ready that can go and take unbelievable pictures and videos for you. That's more detailed than anything that you can do even yourself.
And I'm getting messages on my phone. We will make sure to put out the ads. They'll be out early enough. You'll see them for any of the next events coming up soon. Promise you, we've already built that out. Well, that's it. Peace.
See you guys.
See you guys.